Under head coach Chuck Noll, the Pittsburgh Steelers have won 4 Super Bowls and have not had a losing season in 13 years. And they're off and running with quarterback Mark Malone once again. Malone was brilliant in the Steelers' opener against the Colts, hitting personal highs for completions, yardage, and touchdowns. 21 times he found his mark, and the scoreboard lit up with 5 touchdowns. Louis Lips, a second-year superstar from southern Mississippi, caused the most damage. 9 receptions, 154 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And tonight, in a blue-collar, intra-divisional rivalry game, Malone and his Steeler teammates take on the Cleveland Browns. The Browns lost an overtime thriller to the Cards in their opener, but had outstanding performances from tight end Ozzie Newsome and quarterback Gary Danielson. Danielson, a veteran from the Detroit Lions, works with and ahead of the Browns' celebrated rookie quarterback Bernie Kosar. But Big Ozzie couldn't care less who puts it up. His job is to go get it. And over the last 6 years, he's come down with the football more times than any other receiver in the game. The Browns and the Steelers, Monday Night Football. Here's what Ozzie thinks about tonight's meeting.
2 times that this city, this team and this organization gets really fired up. That's for Monday Night Football and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's happening tonight.
Cleveland Stadium is sold out tonight. 80,000 on hand to watch a bitter rivalry between the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers renewed tonight. They've been playing for 35 years. Records mean nothing when these 2 teams get together. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford. And, of course, the Steelers last year with a 9-7 record went all the way to the AFC Championship before they were eliminated by Miami. And for Cleveland, it was a year in which they saw a lot of games go down the tubes in the last quarter. They were 5-11 for the season. They think they are much better than that. They don't have a quarterback controversy here in Cleveland, but they do have the very celebrated Bernie Kosar. He, of course, out of the University of Miami, electing to play pro football, skipping a couple of years of collegiate football. But Gary Danielson will be the starter tonight, the veteran from Detroit. Not a bad move, I would say. And we'll turn to Joe Namath maybe for the reasoning, perhaps to give this youngster a chance to learn how to play this game.
No, Frank, that's not the reason. The reason is at this point of their careers, Gary Danielson is simply the better quarterback. He has more experience. He knows the NFL. The other side of the coin, we have Mark Malone, who's off to a great start this year. 5 touchdown passes earlier last week, a fine core of receivers. Both teams have excellent defenses, and they're somewhat similar in the defensive line and the linebackers. However, in the secondary, Pittsburgh likes to play a zone defense as opposed to Cleveland, who is an aggressive defense and plays a man-to-man. While the cornerbacks for Cleveland, Frank Minifield and Hanford Dixon, are going to have their hands full tonight because they have to cover Louis Lips, John Stallworth, and Weegee Thompson.
You're dangerous. You've done your homework. Quickly, Joe, any little twang of memory when you walked in here 15 years ago, first Monday Night Football game?
Every time I think about this Monday night game, I just wish I would have completed my pass, the last one to Emerson Boozer, as opposed to their linebacker, Billy Andrews.
We won't let you forget it. All right, turn quickly to O.J. The Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 of the finest receivers in the game, John Stallworth, Louis Lips. What do you do about them?
Well, they're as good as you get, and one interesting thing is Cleveland will try to play them man-on-man. As you know, Stallworth is only getting better, and Lips is the NFL's Rookie of the Year. The key to the night's game is turnovers. The last 8 times these two teams have played, the team with the least amount of turnovers has won the game. So the key tonight is if you can hold on to the ball and throw it to the right man, you should win the football game. Frank?
This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Radio Shack, the computer experts. And by Prestone 2 Antifreeze. America goes with Prestone. We're set to go. The Cleveland Browns have won the toss. They'll receive to your left. We look deep to number 84, Glenn Young. He's back there along with number 85, Clarence Weathers. There's Glenn Young, third-year man from Mississippi State. Set to go. Gary Anderson pops it deep, and it carries into the end zone. And Glenn Young will bring it out. Young bowling out to the 25-yard line, and this crowd will be hysterical tonight. This is a rivalry that, well, honestly, the record means nothing over the years. It seems like almost every time, at least in recent years, that they have been able to win at home. As we look at the offensive unit now, they trot out Gary Danielson at quarterback, 9-year man out of Purdue, and of course 8 of those years with the Detroit Lions. The 2 setbacks, they are fine running backs. You haven't heard that much about them. Kevin Mack, a rookie from Clemson, number 34. Biner out of East Carolina, number 44. Willis Adams at the left side, number 80, wide receiver. Fred Banks, number 83, a rookie from Liberty Baptist State in Virginia. First down and 10. First offensive play. Danielson will put it up. Fires to Ozzie Newsom, who had 6 receptions last week. And he is having a remarkable career. Defensively, they'd like to have Gary Dunn at nose tackle. He's unavailable. Arthroscopic surgery, should be back in a couple of weeks. So they move Edmund Nelson in there, who can play all along that line. The cornerbacks, Wayne Woodruff, Harvey Clayton, Eric Williams. Roams the center at free safety. Great linebackers in this game. Mike Merriweather was a Pro Bowler. Robin Cole was a Pro Bowler. The Cleveland Browns feel they have even better linebackers. So one of the controversies that is always going to exist, at least for the next few years, who has the better linebacker? 2nd down and 4 for the Cleveland Browns. The ball at their own 30-yard line. Here comes Kevin Mack, the rookie from Clemson. Slips, gets to his feet, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and struggles for a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 4. Robin Cole defensively there for these Pittsburgh Steelers. Last year, defensively, this unit was 4th against the run, 15th against the pass, 5th overall in the NFL, and Robin Cole has a bit of a chin strap problem. And he'll step out of the lineup, but only because the Pittsburgh Steelers, Tony Dungy, defensive coordinator, is anticipating pass. I'm sure they bring in the extra setback. That's Sam Washington. Gary Danielson from the shotgun. That's Newsom on the move, number 82. They love to get it to Newsom. Danielson fires, intended for Fred Banks. Flag is down in the backfield. Could be holding. Yes, it is. With respect, the Steelers will forego that penalty. They'll get the ball on the 4th down, and the punting unit is already out for Cleveland. Rick Woods drops back. Number 22.
Holding 74 offense. Penalty refused. 4th down.
That's Paul Farron over the left side. He replaced a long-time starter, 14-year man, Doug Deacon. There is Gary Rick Woods' brother. Louis Lips did a tremendous job back there a year ago, setting an NFL record for rookies in yards returned, but they want to give him a little bit of a breather. So this is Rick Woods. Forgoes the fair catch and is nailed right at the 27-yard line by Larry Brazil, who was hustling down there. So the Steelers will have their first offensive set. And they bring out Mark Marlone. He was brilliant last week in the win over the Colts, 21 of 30. Those are the numbers, 5 touchdowns. Everything he did were all-time highs for this former number 1 draft pick from Arizona State. The 2 setbacks, and they are healthy. That's something almost new for Abercrombie. They can be awesome if they are. Both of them out of Baylor. The wide receivers, well, they're tremendous. Stallworth, 80 receptions a year ago. Louis Lips getting off to a great start last week. 3 touchdowns, 9 receptions. 15 receptions between them on the outside. Frank Pollard, right side. Turns the corner. And he has a Steeler first down. He's out over the 40-yard line, close to the 42 before Don Rogers takes him out. Well, the Steelers get off in the very first play. Good running, good blocking out in front of it, O.J.
Well, it's a simple, sweet play. I think they wanted to go off tackle. Pollard took it outside. They had both their wide receivers, Stallworth and Lips, lined up on the left. So they ran to the wide side of the football field and found some running room.
The Steelers scored in 8 of their 11 possessions last week against the Colts, but they're not playing the Colts defense. They're playing the Cleveland Browns. Second in the NFL a year ago in giving up yards. They were first in the AFC, the Browns. This is Pollard again. Bullying out of the 45-yard line. Good hard running for 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 as Al Gross is up there to make the stop. 3-4 line. That's what both teams open with. They'll go to the 4-down lineman on the passing situation. Big pressure man, of course, is Reggie Kemp, number 96, 14 sacks of a year ago. They're very proud of their secondary here. They call them the Dogs. That name's given to them by Hanford Dixon, their right cornerback, and they do love to challenge you. They do like to get into man for man. If they get into too much of that tonight, John Stallworth and Louis Lips could really give them a burn. 2nd and 6. Abercrombie. And Abercrombie gets away from one Brownie, but he's chased out of bounds by Tom Cousineau. Mark Malone, great game last week, Joe. I know you've watched him. He's big, got a lot of stature and a powerful arm.
That's right, Frank. I don't look for him to continue running the ball very long. They're getting isolated coverage on their wide receivers. The last play, by the way, the strong safety, Al Gross, came up nicely on the outside and forced the play farther outside, and that's the reason they did not make a gain.
3rd down and 6. Weegee Thompson is in, number 87. He's 6'6". Rich Ehrenberg, 24. He works well out of the backfield. He's in a wing position. Going deep for Stallworth, and he could have had that. Hanford Dixon was with him. That was a perfectly thrown ball. I don't think it was deflected. And that is not what you see very often from John Stallworth. But again, Hanford Dixon was hassling him just a bit. We'll look at it from the reverse angle, and you'll get an opportunity to see yourself. Number 29 is Hanford Dixon. He's a short one, 5'11". I don't know whether it was deflected or not. In any event, the concentration of Stallworth was disturbed. Fourth down. Harry Newsom in to punt for the Steelers. Clarence Weathers is deep. Recently acquired from New England, Clarence Weathers. He just watches it. Ooh, and it just does take a Steeler bounce into the end zone. The Cleveland Browns will have their second possession out at the 20-yard line. There's electricity here at Cleveland Stadium tonight. It's the Browns and the Steelers, and they really don't like each other.
Ever since man invented machines to move people, he has sought new ways to defeat the wind's resistance. And now there's a totally new aerodynamic design for this age. Ford brings you the age of Aerostar. Aerostar. Take it to the school. Take it to the campsite. Take it to the movies. Take it to the lumberyard. Or take it to the max. Yes, anywhere you take it, Aerostar proves its versatility. Aerostar. Ford Aerostar.
Strength, pride, tradition. For centuries, the Clydesdales have been known as a special breed. Today, the Clydesdales symbolize Budweiser's dedication to quality, superior ingredients, exclusive beechwood aging, and a distinctively clean, crisp taste only Budweiser can offer. Quality taste, because this Bud's for you.
Hershey Bar, one of the old-time greats. When you want pure milk chocolate with or without almonds, nothing but a Hershey Bar will do. One of the old-time greats.
Each team has had one offensive possession. The Butterflies must have settled down by now. Ready to go, the Cleveland Browns. The ball at their own 20-yard line. There is Marty Schottenheimer, now in his second year, having replaced Sam Rutigliano after the 8th game of last season. Last year, he went 4-4 in a overall 5-11 season. Played for the Buffalo Bills, worked under Bill Arnsparger with the New York Giants, worked to Detroit, and came here as an assistant in 1980. First and 10, Danielson, the quarterback, the single setback. Kevin Mack, the rookie from Clemson. Danielson fires, it's to Harry Holt. Over the middle, number 81, and Holt will have a first down out over the 35, close to the 37. The former Canadian Football League star who came to the Browns a couple of years ago is an excellent receiver. We don't hear that much from him because of Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah, I think they surprised Pittsburgh on this play because Cleveland is a running football team. They try to run the ball and not making mistakes throwing the ball, and they threw on first down, and they'll have to do more of that tonight if they're going to win.
Browns have a first and 10. The ball out over their 36-yard line. Willis Adams is split to the right, 82. That's Newsom. They move him around anywhere they can to get him in an area when he can work himself into the pattern. Danielson had time to move around, gets the ball out to number 83, and the rookie from Liberty Baptist State, Fred Banks, does not hold on. Should have had it.
That could be the major weak spot of this Cleveland Brown offensive team, their wide receivers. Even the last several years, Ozzie Newsome hasn't had a great deal of help on the outside, but he still manages to get open. They need some better wide receivers.
Hey, quite frankly, defensively, if you were playing them, you certainly would double every time on the outside. I mean, single every time on the outside and get some kind of double on Ozzie Newsome because he is the strength. And you just have to make them go to the outside and stop giving it up to Newsome. And that's what he's been doing over the past few years. He can beat a team by himself practically. On second and 10. Underneath, this is Biner out of the backfield. Biner stopped short of the first down up close to the 44. Mike Merriweather.
Merriweather was isolated with him that time because they came with the weak side blitz. Cole and Hinkle both blitzed from the other side, so he had Biner one-on-one. You know, I may be a little hard on these wide receivers too early for Cleveland. Banks, after all, is a rookie, and he'll probably need some time to develop.
You're going to have somebody man for man out of the backfield. A linebacker on a back. Mike Merriweather is the one to have. The Pro Bowler had a tremendous year a year ago. He's a great athlete, 6'2", 215, and he'll run right with the slower backs in the league. Third down, a little more than a yard for the first. Danielson will put it up. Wide open is Mack. Mack will have another Cleveland Brown first down near the 40-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Danielson has come to throw the ball. There's no question about that. Third and a little more than one. Puts it right up.
Oh, he faked Robin Cole out of position that time. Robin certainly was playing the run, and that's why Mack ran right past him. Robin thought it was going to be a running play. Nice faking.
A little more than 10 minutes remaining in the first quarter. No score, and the Browns on the move. They have a first down at the 40-yard line of the Steelers. Willis Adams, wide receiver, former number 1 draft pick of the Browns, split to the right. Fred Banks up at the top of your screen. The two tight ends, Newsom 82, Harry Holt 81 are both in there. Play action again by Danielson. A flag is down. Danielson looking for the first down, not to go out of bounds. He has first down yardage, but a flag is down at the line of scrimmage. Don't see that much anymore of the quarterbacks turning upfield when they need a first down.
No, with Danielson, he'll do it. He did it last week against the...
Illegal formation on the offense.
He did it last week against the Chargers. He gained 60 yards, I think, in 10 carries.
Gene Barth tells us that that play will go for naught. Illegal formation on the part of the offensive unit.
You know, Gary's had some trouble over the years with injuries, and that's what really created that quarterback controversy at Denver. I am a bit surprised that he continues to take it upfield. But he's a great competitor. That's really the basic reason these guys like to run with the ball. They'll do anything they can to get the win.
It really is amazing what the Steelers have done in the first quarter. They only gave up something like 26 points in the first quarter all of last year. First down and 15. The ball at the 45-yard line of the Steelers. Danielson getting a lot of time. And again, Banks does not handle a ball that could have been caught. Danielson shaking his head, and he of course was in that quarterback controversy up in Detroit, and then Danielson came here one day before the May draft. They brought Joe Ferguson into Detroit. Hipple, however, still remains the quarterback up there, but Danielson had his best year of his 7-year career a year ago, passing just under 62%, over 3,000 yards. He had 17 touchdowns, and Detroit was 4-11-1. Well, he's coming off a big year, Gary Danielson. He looks now over a second down and 15. Kevin Mack on the draw play. Right there was Robin Cole and Brian Hinkle.
David Little made a good play that time. He simply ran after the running back. It was his coverage all the way. He read running play, and he shot right through the gap. A good play by David Little.
Alternating at left guard are the Cleveland Browns, bringing in the plays. They bring in Robert Jackson and George Lilja. Third down, 16 now for Danielson. We'll see the shotgun. You see the 4 wide receivers. Ozzie Newsom now split all the way to the right. Works back to the middle in motion. Number 82. Blitz. And Brian Hinkle this time. He's the one you don't hear that much about. You hear more about Robin Cole, the Pro Bowler, and Mike Merriweather, the Pro Bowler, but Brian Hinkle is an excellent linebacker.
One of the positive things that happened for Pittsburgh last year, they moved Robin Cole inside, and that allowed Brian Hinkle to play, and he has been as steady as any linebacker Pittsburgh has.
Gossett is on. Rick Woods is back there, and they put Louis Lips back there with him. Lips can give you a thrill. Gossett, a short kick, a poor kick, and it takes a Cleveland bounce. So Pittsburgh bounce. Pittsburgh will have fairly good field position. We'll be back in Cleveland in just a moment.
You can manage your business with the Tandy 6000 from Radio Shack, a powerful multi-user system that allows your office to work together by sharing one computer with word processing and data processing for strategic planning and control. Information sharing is essential for success. And the Tandy 6000 gives you a wealth of information for sound business decisions. Tandy computers, in business, for business. Only at Radio Shack Computer Centers.
One of the world's best drivers talks about Ford quality.
Nobody expects a luxury car to be quick. But watch this Continental Mark 7 LSC. 0 to 50 in 8.1 seconds. I like that feeling.
Sure, race car drivers like to kick a car from 0 to 50. But sometimes it's more important how fast you go from 50 to 0. I'm going to stand on these anti-lock brakes at the end of this water-soaked test lane, but they'll pump themselves electronically. Watch what happens. They don't lock. They stop me quickly, even while I was turning. Take a look from another angle.
Whether it's accelerating quickly or stopping quickly, this Mark 7 LSC is just one more example of Ford quality. Quality you can feel.
Ford, you'll feel the quality, because quality is job one.
Monday Night Football all began right here 15 years ago. We're now in our 16th season, and Joe Namath, my colleague in the booth, along with O.J. Simpson, was the quarterback of the record for the Jets that night. They went down to the Cleveland Browns 31-21 as we look at Bernie Kosar, who was in kindergarten, I might point out, Joe, when that game was played.
Well, I thought he was a smart kid. I guess he was a slow learner.
Of course, the great quarterback from Miami, watching Gary Danielson quarterback the Cleveland Browns. 1st and 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers. All at their own 27. Malone had Darrell Nelson, the tight end, open. Didn't get it to him. Don Rogers in the vicinity. Darrell Nelson, who is playing for Benny Cunningham, as he did much of last year, Benny Cunningham on the injured reserve, has not had a reception this year. Of course, they've only had the one game, but he only had 2 a year ago when he started 10 times. What I'm trying to say is that the Steelers like to go to their outside receivers, and well, they should, because of Lewis Lips, John Stallworth, and Weegee Thompson, number 87, who has just checked into the game. 2nd and 10. Draw play, Abercrombie. And Abercrombie stepped into Frank Pollard, slowed him down. Al Grouse got him. And there's a loss. All the way back inside the 25-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 14. I want to remind you, Saturday on CFA College Football, Michigan, coming off an upset win over Notre Dame, taking on my old teammate, Joe Morrison's highly ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. Coverage will begin live at 3 o'clock Eastern Saturday on ABC Sports, so don't miss it. 3rd down, long yardage. Mark Malone looks it over. Arenberg, 24, is in there at the wingback for the Steelers. A good receiver working from that spot. A lot of time for Malone. The flag is down. Perhaps that's why he had a lot of time. Louis Lips comes down with it with 1st down yardage, but I think it'll be brought back for holding. Well, that's how you get a lot of time, I guess. 1st down will be brought back.
Well, at least on that play, you saw the difference a jersey will make. Louis Lips, number 83, went up for a catchable ball.
Holding, 63 offense, 10-yard penalty. Replay the down.
Came down with the ball, and of course, number 83 for Cleveland, Fred Banks, went up with 2 catchable balls and came down without it, Joe.
Pete Rostowski, the left tackle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, was holding. Now it's 3rd and extremely large yardage. 3rd down and 23. Weegee Thompson stays in the game. Number 87, Lips, 83, John Stallworth, the wide receivers. Arenberg, 24, works as a receiver from the wingback spot. Draw play, Pollard. And Cleveland rains all over that at the 17-yard line. And out comes the punting unit. So second-ranked defense in the NFL a year ago has the Steelers in trouble.
Well, that's just playing it close there. I just don't think at this stage of the game, Coach Noah wanted to take a chance on the turnover, the interception. They did have a lot of yardage to make up. He was hoping to gain it by the draw, but very little chance.
As Clarence Weathers, they picked him up September the 3rd from New England. Not big, 5'9", 170-pounder. Came on waivers from New England. He's back for the Browns, and that one had to be hurried by Newsom. Partially blocked. He tried to hurry it to get it off, And the Browns will have excellent field position near the 49-yard line of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's look again. This is Harry Newsom, a rookie 8th-round pick out of Wake Forest. Tremendous pressure. Chris Watkins was in there for the Brownies. Number 37. He got a hand on it. And the Browns get it right back. No score. 6:20 remaining in the first quarter.
Barn's on fire. Gotta go. You're gonna go with Prestone.
Driving just 10,000 miles on weak, neglected antifreeze can leave a radiator looking this bad, while the Prestone radiator looks this good.
America goes with Prestone.
It's supercharged. The new Energizer AA battery.
From Energizer Science comes the longest-lasting Energizer AA ever made. No other battery can outlast it. It's supercharged.
It's America's newest bundle of energy.
All good horse traders know horses. The best ones know cowboys, too.
He needs a little work, but the price is firm. He's worth it, but I'm a little short. Just pay me half now, and if I don't hear from you, he knows his way home.
Bush. Head for the beer brewed natural as a mountain stream, for a taste as smooth as its name.
Bush. Head for Bush beer. Head for the mountains.
Our Family Honor premieres tomorrow night at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
The Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers meeting for the 31st time. The Cleveland Browns have a 1st and 10 at the Steelers' 49-yard line. No score in a hard-hitting game. Both teams having lost first downs with holding penalties. 6:20 remaining in the first quarter. The quarterback, Gary Danielson of the Browns, hands off to Kevin Mack, the rookie from Clemson. He is met hard by Keith Willis, or rather Keith Gary. Loss of about a yard. There's Keith Gary. First round pickup 1981 for the Steelers. He went up to Montreal for a couple of years and came back in 83 and has given them a really fine outside pass rusher. A little bit of a problem with the knee, but where the Steelers defensive line is hurt even more is the fact that Gary Dunn, an excellent nose tackle, they think is a Pro Bowl type nose tackle, is unable to play tonight because of a knee problem. 2nd down and 11. Danielson, pressure, and down goes Danielson. Gary, we spoke of him a moment ago. Good pass rusher. Got right into Danielson's face.
Well, we'll take a good look at number 93. Just blew his man back. This is one of the reasons Marty Schottenheimer would prefer to have a running team instead of a passing team. Is he doesn't think his offensive line is experienced enough to protect properly, and he just doesn't want to find himself in a 3rd and long situation like this.
Keith Gary coming right over Paul Farron, who, as I mentioned at the top of the show, replaced a 14-year veteran here, Doug Deacon, very popular here in the Cleveland area. 3rd down, long yardage, and the Browns will go from the shotgun. A little drop off to Biner, trying to get some of it back, not looking for all of it. Obviously, both teams now playing it just a little close. They did not go upfield on a 3rd down and 20. And when you're at midfield, well, I think that might be a little too close.
Well, I think, once again, both coaches are aware that turnovers have dictated the outcome of this game in the last 8 games, and they're just trying to avoid the turnover and play as safely as they can and go with defense. That's what got them there.
Jeff Gossett to punt. Louis Lips, Rick Woods are deep for the Steelers. Rick Woods is there, calls for, and pulls off the fair catch at the 17-yard line. Still no score. The Steelers and the Cleveland Browns from Cleveland Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio, where we will return in just a moment.
Give me a light. Go! Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light.
Bud Light. So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best. Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Thank you.
Because everything else is just a light.
If mistakes make you boiling mad, try the liquid paper line of correction fluids. Our solutions for handwritten mistakes, photocopies, even colored stationery can get you out of, well, almost any jam.
It's so smooth it won't even scratch this delicate surface. The Papermate AccuPoint roller pen with a stainless steel point and metal rolling ball for remarkably smooth fine point writing. The Papermate AccuPoint.
You gotta move? You're thinking about a move. You are moving. Ryder moving days are here with special rates on Ryder trucks at Ryder dealers everywhere. The newest, best trucks you can rent with power steering, automatic transmissions, radios, air conditioning. Did you move yet? Our special fall rates will help you move. See your Ryder dealers. With these rates, you're gonna move. I'm moving. Yeah.
Ryder, the right move.
The rolling record book, Walter Payton and the Chicago Bears take on Bud Grant's New Look Vikings on an NFL Thursday special, live at 8 Eastern.
The Bears and the Vikings are undefeated. The Rams and Seattle are undefeated. We'll have them on Monday night. Only 4 undefeated teams remaining in the NFL. First down and 10. 17-yard line. Pittsburgh with a 45-3 win in their opener. Trying to get things moving. Frank Pollard works his way to the 20. Just perhaps 3 yards out of it. Tom Cousineau, who grew up right here in the Cleveland area. Great All-American from Ohio State, made the stop, number 50.
Well, to get things going offensively, I think these teams ought to start throwing the football on first down. We saw Cleveland do it successfully earlier, and then they went away from it the last series or two. And Pittsburgh hasn't thrown a pass yet on first down. I believe they have to go downfield with the ball.
I think both coaches are aware of what O.J. touched on at the top. I think the last 8 games have been decided by the team with the fewest turnovers. They're being very cautious here in the early going. 3:56 remaining in the first quarter. Walter Abercrombie. Abercrombie putting on some moves. Short of the first down at the 25-yard line by a couple. Al Gross, one of the Cleveland Brownies in there on the stop. Abercrombie and Pollard, the 2 setbacks, both from Baylor. Abercrombie, a number 1 pick in '82. Really, for the first time, played like one a year ago when he got things together, had a big season. Had a lot of nagging injuries in the early going. Third down and 2. Steve Morse, a rookie from Virginia, is in. Rich Ehrenberg, second-year man from Colgate. As the Steelers look at a 3rd and 2 as a pass. Fired, and it's complete to John Stallworth. He has the first down. He's out over the 35, close to the 38-yard line. Don Rogers defensively. John Stallworth with 80 receptions a year ago, 5 last week. He is such a gifted receiver.
He sure is. Cleveland came with Dave Pazulia, 4th lineman that time, to put pressure on, but it was one-on-one coverage. Stallworth simply makes a good catch. It really wasn't bad coverage, but the ball was in an area where the defender couldn't get to it. What I like also is Stallworth holding on to the football after getting hit so hard.
Stallworth off the line of scrimmage beat Hanford Dixon. Fine cornerback for the Browns. He gets the first down, and they mark it just inside the 40-yard line. Hammering ahead is Abercrombie. Tom Cousineau at the bottom of the pile. A gain of a couple, maybe 3, to bring up second down at 7. Donnie Shell, free agent, those many years ago. One of the 3 Steelers who remain that played in all 4 of those Super Bowls. Mike Webster was there, John Stallworth, and Donnie Shell. And we have an injured Cleveland Brown, still getting up. We will not speculate on the number. Now we are told it is number 51. That is Eddie Johnson, a tremendous linebacker in his own right. Let's talk about this field for a moment. I played many years on it. It can be treacherous at times. You get down, particularly when baseball is still being played here, as they did last night. It can be really tough down there. O.J., you walked the field earlier. Tell us about it.
Well, it's in the best condition that I've ever seen it in. Of course, I played here 4 times, and every time I was here it was a monsoon, and we were playing in mud. But there are a few divots in the field, and how they counteract that is they fill them up with sand. And the sand sometimes will give as a player tries to cut on it. So you'll see players slip here tonight, but I think all in all, the field is in the best condition that I've ever seen it in.
Pitcher's mound, as a matter of fact, is still there. to your left underneath the goalpost, and they were playing baseball here last night. Well, I guess you could take advantage of that if you wanted to. There it is. Meanwhile, they continue to look at Eddie Johnson, the linebacker who says, "Don't call me that other linebacker." He says that because of Chip Banks, Tom Cousineau, and Clay Matthews. Give us just a moment as they continue to look at Eddie Johnson to tell you about the Jets yesterday, and they had some game yesterday in Giant Stadium, coming back from that whitewash at the hands of the Raiders, and what a day for Freeman McNeil. Let's take a look at it. Action in the third quarter. First offensive play for the Jets. Jets leading 21-0. Watch Freeman McNeil. He has such tremendous speed and moves for his size. When he has it all together, there's nothing quite like him. Longest career run from scrimmage for Freeman McNeil. Third longest in the Jets' history, and that set up another Jets touchdown. The Jets went out in front 28-3. Vince Ferragamo, they hammered him all day long. Here he is trying to get back in it at 28-3. And you're going to see Curry Glenn, as the Jets had to make over their entire secondary for this game. Curry Glenn returns it 15 yards for the touchdown. The final score, the Jets 42, Buffalo 3. Big comeback for the Jets after that loss to the Raiders. Third down, second down, and 7. This is Pollard, and he is hit right at the line of scrimmage. Scott Nicholas, number 58, is in the lineup defensively for the Cleveland Browns. We'll try to get a report on the condition of Eddie Johnson.
Joe, I'm inclined to agree with you. Cleveland is trying to cover these two outside receivers man on man, and I would have believed that Pittsburgh would have challenged them a little more now. You know, they're playing them relatively close. I thought they'd go deep to either Lips or Stallworth by now.
I think they will. They'll get to it sooner or later. They have to.
Third down and 6. Reggie Thompson split to the left. John Stallworth split to the right, as is Louis Lips. Out of time from Malone, they tried to get it to Stallworth, and it was almost picked off. And for Dixon, defensively there, Don Rogers had a shot at it. It'll be fourth down, and the Steelers will have to punt once again, with 1:18 remaining in the first quarter. Don Stallworth, what a year he had as we looked at Clarence Weathers dropping. All highs for Stallworth a year ago, 11 touchdowns, nearly 1,400 yards. And now, here's Harry Newsom, the rookie 8th-round draft pick out of Wake Forest, kicked twice last week for a 45.5 average. Good towering punt by Newsom. This is Weathers. Weathers slipped to a couple of tackles at the 20-yard line, but buried at the 25 by Todd Spencer. Again, a reminder, Thursday night, special time, 8 o'clock from Minneapolis, the Chicago Bears. That great defense, an NFL record with 72 sacks a year ago, headed by Mike Singletary. He had 3 last week. They go against the Vikings. Bud Grant has the Vikings going once again.
And you wonder how important a coach is in football. I think he's everything. You see Bud Grant winning with pretty much the same players that they had there last year. I mean, it really is something.
Wait till duck season opens. Won't be able to find him. First and 10, 24-yard line. Browns in possession, no score. 1:07 remaining in the first quarter. And Mack is buried, the rookie from Clemson.
Just don't know why they don't throw the football on first down at this stage. They were successful with it earlier.
Well, that's debatable, Joe. Earlier, they had guys open. Fred Banks didn't come down with a couple of passes. But normally about midway in the first quarter, you go to what you do best. And basically, this Cleveland team is a running football team. They surprised us early by trying to throw, but they're getting back to what they normally do now.
Yeah, that's why I want them to throw the football. You know, if they normally run the ball, let's cross up Pittsburgh. Throw the rock.
The man they like to get the ball to, of course, is Ozzie Newsome. He's had more receptions than any other receiver in this game today over the past 6 years. And the Steelers thus far have taken it away from them. Second and 10. Danielson has the blitz on, puts one up in the general direction of Willis Adams. I think Danielson was just making sure that wasn't intercepted. The blitz was right in his face. Harvey Clayton was covering Adams. He just threw it away.
The way things are going, Joe, if they keep throwing the ball, you will get a chance to see Bernie Kosar play tonight because they're doing a tattoo job on Gary Danielson every time he releases the ball.
And no one touched the defensive end, Keith Willis, that time. He came clean and did lay a number on Danielson.
Quick look at Kosar with those tremendous stats at the University of Miami. 40 touchdowns over the brief career, 63% completion. Chuck Noll looks on the Browns. Look at a 3rd down and 10. Danielson from the shotgun. Again, pressure. Danielson has to take it out of the pocket. This time, a cooler head prevails. He still tried to get the 1st down. I think he might have got it. Gary Danielson doing the hard way, and tippers are flaring. Harry Hope of the Browns is into it with Keith Gary. Danielson again, not afraid to take the risk, and gets the 1st down. Came up in 1974, wasn't drafted. Played a couple of years in the WFL. Played 3, as a matter of fact, up at Portland. And then went to the Detroit Lions in 1977 as a free agent. Off and on starter there. Last year was his best year of his career. We got 7 seconds to go in the 1st quarter, and this would be the only NFL game in the first 2 weeks of this 85 season that has not produced a score in the 1st quarter if it holds up on this play. Danielson wants to change things. That's going to be picked off. That's Woodruff. Wayne Woodruff. Woodruff with a fine return up close to midfield, and Gary Danielson just hung one up for grabs. I think perhaps an ill-advised pass. Woodruff was well beyond the receiver. And that's the end of the 1st quarter. As the Steelers get a turnover, and keep in mind, so many of these games have turned on the turnover. The Steelers get the first one tonight. We'll be back.
We improved the new Ford Escort in a lot of different areas. We improved it in the area of performance with quicker acceleration. We improved it in the area of efficiency with better gas mileage. We even improved it in the area of comfort, not to mention just about every other area too, which is quite impressive for a car already the bestseller in this area.
Get 7.7 Plus at your Ford dealer now.
Hi, I'm Mark Malone of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is my wife, Mary Ellen. We were both brought up in single-parent homes, and because we came from broken homes, we know how some of these children feel.
That's why we're United Way volunteers at this United Way supported Family and Children's Service Agency, because we know what it's like to grow up in a home with only one parent.
Here at this fresh air camp, single parents and youngsters can get together to work out some of their problems. When I was being raised by my mom, it was tough, but I never gave up. And these kids are learning that they can make it too. United Way wants to make sure that they get their chance. That's why they support programs like this all across the country. When you support your United Way, you're saying that you care about families, and you want to see every kid have a chance. That's why we can say thanks. Because thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
Action News tonight at 11.
Well, as far as the first half is concerned, the quarter is concerned, the only thing I'm surprised about is the fact that the Steelers haven't challenged those cornerbacks of Cleveland yet, Joe. I thought they'd go deep on them by now.
I thought they would, too, and also I'm surprised that Cleveland doesn't mix it up and throw on 1st down a little more. But my biggest surprise is Gary Danielson on that last pass play. He's an intelligent quarterback. Going deep from midfield and throwing the ball up for grabs in a 1st and 10 situation was a mistake.
And it caused the turnover. We begin the 2nd quarter. No score. Mark Malone is back. 1st and 10 from his own 49-yard line, looking for Lips. And Louis Lips fooling with Frank Meniford. Get a draw on it. Meniford says, I got the win. Then they do like to take you one-on-one. They're very proud of the secondary. And Meniford, who came last year after a couple of years in the USFL, is one of the better man-for-man defenders there. He's 5'9", and he goes right up with Louis Lips.
Look at Don Rogers, number 20. Boy, he's from UCLA. He plays a lot like Kenny Easley, and he got a free shot in there. I don't know if it was legal.
Rogers will take that shot anytime he has the opportunity. It's 2nd down and 10. That's the tight end, Darrell Nelson, 81 on the move, and here comes Abercrombie. Gets a block out front from Pollard. Chip Banks makes the stop, but not until Abercrombie gets 7 to the Browns' 45-yard line. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Chrysler Plymouth, who invites you to discover the new technology of driving at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Third down and 3, the Steelers. One big in their opener over the Colts, 45-3, where the Browns were doing what they did 5 out of 7 times that they led in the fourth quarter a year ago, losing to the Cardinals late in the game. 27-24 last week in overtime. Malone, 3rd and 3. Tries to get it to Ehrenberg. He almost had it, even though the ball was behind him. It'll produce another 4th down. Chris Watkins defensively there, the nickelback for the Browns.
Well, Mark Malone has a very strong arm on that play. I thought he could have set and threw the ball. He probably would have thrown a better pass. He threw the ball off the wrong leg. I was a little surprised at that. He appeared to have enough time.
There's Clarence Brothers. Settles in at about the 10-yard line. And the rookie punter for the Pittsburgh Steelers is Harry Newsom. He led the Atlantic Coast Conference at Wake Forest for the past 3 years. Looks for the corner. Weathers cuts it off. Good move by Weathers. That's why they got him from New England early in September. That would have been a punt that probably would have gone out somewhere around the 10 or 12-yard line. As it is, Weathers cuts it off, and the Browns will have a 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. First quarter numbers for you. Very conservative play on the part of both ball clubs. Those numbers not reflecting the hitting that was going on, I can assure you of that.
But it's quite typical of this game when these two teams play. They're both strong defensive teams. As you know, the Cleveland Browns, they were number 1, I guess, in the AFC last year, number 2 in all of football. And what they're going to try to do now on offense is just not make mistakes, run the ball, and hope that defense will make something happen.
And they continue to go with the 2 tight ends. They put down the rookie wide receiver. They come with Harry Holt, Ozzie Newsome, both good receivers. Draw play, Kevin Mack. Mack struggling for about a yard in the arms of David Little. He's the brother of Larry Little, the coach of Bethune-Cookman, a former Miami Dolphin great. Let's take a look at him. He doesn't get the credit that many people think that he deserves. He filled in all of last year for the now retired inside linebacker. That, of course, being Jack Lambert, one of the greats of the game.
But Dan Fike, the right guard of Cleveland, pulled around to the left, and he just missed him. Of course, David Little so quick, David ran around him.
2nd down and 9. Mack, the rookie from Clemson, single setback. Danielson looks out, finds Biner. Biner breaks the tackle. Good running by Biner. Biner, a great effort to the 48-yard line before Keith Gary pursues and makes the stop.
It's a simple flat pattern here. There was a blitz on. Biner ran to the... This kid just continues to do it week in and week out. Last year, he was the only back in the league to run for over 100 yards against his Pittsburgh team. They say he can't make people miss, but he's making a few miss on this run.
Yeah, Eric Williams, the free safety, would like to have that play over again. He did miss the tackle.
They got him in the 10th round a year ago out of East Carolina. He averaged 5.9 on the year, but did not have enough carries to qualify for the rushing title. Otherwise, he would have had the top average in the AFC. 1st down and 10. The ball at the 48-yard line of the Steelers. Still no score. The Browns and the Steelers. Danielson gets it in to Mack. He lost the concentration. Incomplete.
Yeah, but I like the philosophy there. They're throwing on 1st down that time, and Mack was open. All he had to do was hold on to the football.
Harvey Clayton of the Steelers, the right cornerback, is shaken up. He stays on the surface. There he is. Actually won the job this year from Sam Washington. Sam Washington a year ago had taken the job from Harvey Clayton. So they have been seesawing back and forth over the cornerback. Let's take a look at the reception, or almost reception, of Kevin Mack. Right into his chest. He didn't handle it. And here comes Clayton, number 33. Maybe just caught a cleat in the surface.
I think he's stunned. He ran into Mack's back. And
Mack was moving.
Back is strong.
The emphasis of Robin Cole, number 56, he was hitting Mack, and I think all of that Clayton caught.
Right in the head.
Take a look at the whites of his eyes. You know where you are.
Marty Schottenheimer wants to have a running team. He keeps pounding it into these guys' head that they could run the football, but it was last week, the last 8 minutes of that game when they started throwing the ball, they got back in the game, they went ahead of St. Louis. That may have changed Marty's mind a little bit, Joe.
I'd kind of look for them to run it here. They don't like a 3rd down and 10 situation. If they can gain 4 or 5, a 3rd, 5, 3rd and 4 would be a better situation.
Danielson checks out the 2nd down and 10. Biner's single setback deep for the Browns. Flag is down. You saw the movement. Danielson finds the man open. It is Biner over in the left side. The flags are down, both at the line of scrimmage and in the backfield now. Robin Cole was there defensively against Biner.
False start on the quarterback. Illegal movement with the head.
Gary Danielson causing the movement you saw on the part of the Steelers, an illegal movement of the head.
Well, my play calling wasn't too good that time, but we got the 5 yards anyway. Oh, it's against the offense. Excuse me.
Danielson bobbing that head. He's over there complaining to referee Gene Barth. He says, I have to shout those signals loud. That's really what he was doing. But every now and then, they'll get a little tricky, try and draw the 5-yard offside penalty with the irregular bark of the signals. 2nd down and 15, and the Browns are back to the 47-yard line. Newsom is 82. Danielson wants Newsom. And Newsom working against Donnie Shell. Donnie Shell, a veteran of 12 seasons in perfect position.
That was really good coverage by Donnie Shell. He did have Ozzie one-on-one. And, man, I'd throw the ball to Ozzie one-on-one most of the time, too, because Ozzie will come down with it.
But aren't you surprised that on a 3rd and 15 that Ozzie Newsom would get single coverage?
Yes, especially against the defenses that Pittsburgh usually uses.
They will go back to him. You can count on that. Donnie Shell not only has been to the Pro Bowl 5 times, he is the leading active career interceptor in pro football today. All as a free agent from 12 years ago from South Carolina State. 3rd down, 15. Steelers want a blitz and they get a little eager. Unless they were drawn off. They are complaining bitterly that they were, but I did not see movement on the part of the Browns.
Well, the right tackle, Cody Rising, was back on his heels, kind of drifting back.
68 offense.
And they picked right up on it. Robert Jackson. They indicate, made a move, and the Steelers, when they see that movement, they all come, and that's exactly what they did. The Browns will be backed up 5 more. Now you'll see the Steelers probably drop into a 4-down line front, pin their ears back. They know that Gary Danielson, even though he can run fairly well, he's not the most mobile quarterback back there. They'll try and get right in his face on 3rd and 20. Nope. They'll bring in another defensive back, bring in 2 of them, and they go with the 3 down front. Not a time for Danielson, but Edmund Nelson comes around the horn and nails him. All the way back to the 33-yard line. They had a 1st and 10 at the Steelers' 48-yard line. And now they must punt, and they have the football at their 33-yard line.
Well, I don't think Pittsburgh's really stopped Cleveland at this point. Cleveland seems to be stopping themselves with the dropped passes and the penalties.
Jeff Gossett is deep. I mean, to punt, Rick Woods is back there with Louis Lips. Rick Woods. And if you've just joined us, that's the kind of hitting we've had all night. 2 bitter rivals in the AFC Central Division. And we have no score with 11:14 remaining in the first half. Keeping track of baseball pennant races for you. Cleveland defeated the Yankees 9-5 today. Yankees falling 5 back now of Toronto. And the Cardinals won both of theirs against Pittsburgh. They're at the moment 1.5 up on the Mets. The Mets, however, are leading Philadelphia 9-0. Marty Schottenheimer talking it over with quarterback Gary Danielson. Both teams having a difficult time getting things underway offensively tonight. Both teams playing it very close to the vest tonight. Steelers with a 1st and 10. The ball at their own 31-yard line. Play action fake by Malone. The receiver is open, and coming down with it is John Stallworth. And he'll have a Steeler 1st down out of the 45-yard line. Frank Gifford along with Joe Namath and O.J. Simpson watching the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. They have split games over the past 2 years. And over the last 8 games, the team with the most turnovers, well, they are the team that usually has lost. 1st and 10. Steelers at the 46-yard line. Abercrombie. And Walter tries to turn it inside, and he runs into a whole lot of trouble, headed by Eddie Johnson, who's back in the game. He maybe squeaked a yard out of it. It'll be 2nd and 9, and we're going to pause 5 seconds and allow our stations to identify themselves.
Action News tonight at 11.
That's our story, and it is right now nothing but a good, hard-hitting football game. Steelers being very conservative, not trying to go for the big one. 2nd down and 9. Malone looks to Weegie Thompson and tries to come back across the field to John Stallworth. And right there with him, Hanford Dixon, a first-round pick back in '81. He's had 12 interceptions in 3 years. Many feel that on a team with a better record, he would be a Pro Bowler.
John had a step to the inside on him that time, and Mark just didn't get the ball on the money.
3rd down and 9. Stallworth will go into the slot on the right side. Weegie Thompson up at the top of your screen. He's 6'6". Second-year man from Florida State, top of your screen. And Louis lifts his split to the right. Looking for Weegie Thompson. He's there. And he does not hold on. A beautifully thrown pass by Mark Malone. He almost caught it for Weegie Thompson. And that would have been a 1st down goal to go. Mark Malone, I feel, has really arrived. Played in the shadow of Terry Bradshaw for so long. That injury to the knee in '82 set him way back. Could not have been a better thrown ball. Larry Brazil running stride for stride. He put it up there to the big, tall Weegie Thompson, who's 6'6". No way Brazil had a play on the ball. And Weegie doesn't come down with it. Weathers is back for Cleveland on 4th down. Newsom to punt. Beautiful punt. High, towering kick. And there's no question in Clarence Weathers' mind, he had no opportunity to return it. He very wisely calls for, however, and makes the fair catch at the 12. That ball would have gone outside, inside the 10-yard line.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Jay Saldi of the Bears is stripped of the ball at the 2 by Benny Perrin of the Cardinals, who attempts to recover in the end zone, but can get only 1 foot down inbounds. Now you make the call. Where do you spot the ball?
If you're waiting to buy a personal computer, you may have questions about power, expandability, and dollars and cents. For the complete answer, take a close look at IBM. An IBM PC runs thousands of programs, expands easily, and prices are better than ever. So don't wait. Once you take the first step, the rest come easy. IBM Personal Computers.
What call did you make? Whether...
We're back. That punt was called back. Illegal man downfield. So once again, it'll be Newsom with Clarence Weathers deep for Cleveland. And again, a high towering kick by Newsom. This time, Weathers very wisely again allows it to bounce. That one was not going out of bounds. It goes into the end zone. So Clarence Weathers, acquired right in the first week of the season, has made some fine plays back there already tonight. The Browns will get it back at their 20-yard line. 10 minutes remaining in the half. Still no score, and that is surprising. Last week, the Steelers rolled up 45, working against the Colts, and the Browns had 24 points in an overtime loss to the Cardinals.
Well, it's surprising from Pittsburgh's point of view. They have the ability to have a high-powered offense, but from looking at it from Cleveland's side, I'm not so surprised. They're a team that's going to try to run the ball. They're going to run the ball against the number 4 rated defense in football last year against the run, and they just don't have the horses to come up with a big play at this point.
Cleveland at their own 20-yard line. Adams in motion, number 80. And it's Biner from East Carolina. Good running once again by Biner. Out over the 25, near the 27. Gain of 6, perhaps 7 to bring up second down and 3. Mike Merriweather defensively as Mark Malone and John Stallworth talk things over the sidelines.
Mark Malone's one of the few quarterbacks in the NFL today that calls his own plays. Coach Noel likes him to call them, and I'm sure Mark likes calling his own plays.
Mike is reasoning about it, too. He says the quarterbacks seem to know what's going on out there a lot better. It gives them responsibility for it. They, of course, precondition him to what they want on certain situations, and are very careful about that. But it gives him better options also on the automatics. On second down and 3, Biner once again. Biner is running well. Stocky, 5'10", 215-pounder. They ran him 21 times last week for 68 yards. He's not going to break the big one very often, but he is very steady, very reliable.
Well, as you can see, he's a slasher. He did a little stutter step there. He just evidently has good balance, and he sees the hole well. He sees the whole field.
They must be very confident in Biner and Mack. They released Mike Pruitt, who had over 6,000 yards over the past few years with these Cleveland Browns. We understand that he has pretty well worked out a deal with one of the teams in the NFL, so we should see Mike Pruitt later this year. Here's Biner again. This time, the Steelers slow Biner at the line of scrimmage, and perhaps 1 yard only by Biner. The outside linebacker, Hinkle's there. Robin Cole from the inside. Keith Willis closing down. They mark it at the 39, so it'll be second down and 7.
Well, when you can get that running game going, you force that defense to start playing you a little tighter, the linebackers a little tighter, and maybe you can pop one of these wide receivers who all possess a great deal of speed. It's the hands that is questioned.
Second and 7. Danielson under pressure. Dumps it off to Kevin Mack. Good read by Danielson, and Mack will have a first down in Steeler territory once again as Dwayne Woodruff made the play. But a good read by both Danielson and Mack. Mack circling right around the blitzing linebacker. Danielson reading it quickly. There's Merriweather, 57.
Well, Pittsburgh was in a blitz, but there's one thing both of these teams do real well. You don't see it done as well as they do it around the league. Is play-action pass. They spend a lot of time trying to fake that ball to hold those linebackers so they can throw those quick passes like that.
Well, that play action's only going to work if they get their running game going.
Well, they had a couple of first downs working there, and when you're moving the ball, anything can happen.
Fooled Robin Cole a couple of times.
First and 10, the ball at the 49-yard line, or just inside the 49-yard line of the Steelers. Biner. This time, Biner hit at the line of scrimmage. That was Robin Cole, who allows a yard to Biner. It'll be second down and 9. Robin Cole, one of the best linebackers in football today against the run. Arguable about who has the best linebackers. You got Robin Cole and Mike Merriweather, both Pro Bowlers. You got Brian Hinkle, highly underrated on the part of the Steelers. The Browns think they have the best in football. Chip Banks is there, Tom Cousineau, Clay Matthews, who is not playing tonight because of a sore back. But you better not bring that up with the Giants. As a matter of fact, a lot of teams. A lot of great players today at that linebacking position. Second and 9. Danielson. Willis Adams. Trying to get first down yardage. He's close, but he's held short. Working against a 5'9" Harvey Clayton.
Well, he got tagged, but it was certainly a good sign to see him catch the ball. Here's a guy that was a #1 draft choice in 1979, and all the years he's been with this team, he's only caught 2 touchdown passes, and they're giving him his chance here tonight.
He was really racked in the early years with injuries. The last couple of years, he started to come on. Last year, he had his best year with 21 receptions. We're talking about Willis Adams. He's short of the first down. But this is the deepest penetration either team has made tonight. The first time either team has been inside the opponent's 40-yard line. Inches to go, and Kevin Mack hit at the line of scrimmage. He'll get it on the surge. And it'll be first down, Cleveland. You'll hear it from 80,000. Sitting in the box right next to us, came here in 1961. We've seen many crowds like this over the years, but so many of them when the Pittsburgh Steelers come to town. And there's nothing like Cleveland Stadium, a round stadium, 80,000 strong. They'll really make the noise for you. First and 10. Adams in motion. Danielson is back. And he has to throw underneath, then he gets it to Ozzie Newsome. And Newsom for about a 4-yard pickup.
Ozzy's a smart tight end. We all know that. That was a zone coverage by Pittsburgh that time, and Ozzy simply crossed underneath and found the open spot.
Great numbers, but they have been great numbers for the past 6 years. The #1 draft pick out of Alabama 8 years ago, in 78. Third all-time as far as tight ends go in receptions. Only Jackie Smith and Pete Retzloff have caught more than tight end Ozzie Newsome, who has been held to only 2 receptions thus far here tonight. Second down and 4. Biner, big opening of Biner is inside the 25. First down, Cleveland. Keith Willis had to make the stop. But the Cleveland Brown line is doing a number in the middle.
Biner has a nice, watch this little stutter he does. He does a nice stutter. He gives a little shoulder move to get his blocker to get on the side of the defender that he wants to get, and he goes the other side. He's got a nice little move in there.
A little lowercase Tony Dorsett move.
Yes.
First and 10. The Browns threatening the first threat of the game thus far tonight. They're at the 25-yard line of the Steelers. We have no score. 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Anderson, what's up, Larry? And he finally has to put it up, and he paid the price for holding it so long. As he was hammered by Mike Merriweather on the blitz. He got pressure also from Keith Willis and Keith Gary.
Well, his receiver, Willis Adams, that time was one-on-one back there with Clayton, but somehow he got hung up in the turf and fell down.
Merriweather all over Danielson there just as he released the ball, and that's almost like a clock in your head, I guess, Joe. You don't see the guy, but you can hear the footsteps and the hot breath, I guess.
When you're back there so many times, somehow you do develop that instinct. You just feel that pressure coming from your backside, at least hopefully. If you don't, you're going to get a big surprise.
Second down and 10 at the 25-yard line, the Browns. Danielson gets good protection and good defensive plays. The flags fall. Ed Banks and Reggie Langhorne were in the pattern. Flags are down. Wayne Woodruff was back there defending. Say, I did nothing. Donnie Shell.
31 defense, first down.
Donnie Shell, number 31, is the man they call. And there's Art Modell. Colorful owner, very involved in league activities, very involved in his football team, I can assure you of that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at, this is Langhorne, the rookie from Elizabeth City State. There's Woodruff, number 49, he was involved, as we mentioned. Merriweather was involved, number 57, and Donnie Shell, well, they picked up his number a little late. That really had to work either against Woodruff or Merriweather. In any event, first down, the Cleveland Browns. They're at the 17-yard line of the Steelers. Danielson wants a bundle. Comes inside as Fred Banks. He drops a couple early. He gets the touchdown from 17 yards out between Harvey Clayton and Eric Williams. First down pass, Joe. You like it?
I love it. Nice going, Freddie. He's kind of made amends for those first 2 drops, but I'm glad to see it. It does the rookie a world of good.
Freddie ran the same pattern that Eugene Langhorne tried to run earlier, a little stop and go. Langhorne got tied up in his stop and go. Nice pump by Danielson. And a real nice pattern by Freddie Banks.
A really nice adjustment on the ball, too. Gary threw the ball to the inside, and Freddie had to adjust. He did a heck of a job getting to it.
Banks is only 5'10", 177. Played at Little Liberty Baptist State. Little, at least in terms of numbers of football players they have sent to the NFL. Matt Barr puts it to the uprights, and we have our first score of the night. The Browns go out on top, 7-0, 3:50 seconds remaining in the first half.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Jay Saldy of the Bears is stripped of the ball at the 2 by Benny Perrin of the Cardinals, who attempts to recover in the end zone, but can get only 1 foot down inbounds. Now you make the call. Where do you spot the ball?
If you're waiting to buy a personal computer, you may have questions about power, expandability, and dollars and cents. For the complete answer, take a close look at IBM. An IBM PC runs thousands of programs, expands easily, and prices are better than ever. So don't wait. Once you take the first step, the rest come easy. IBM Personal Computers.
What call did you make? Whether or not the ball was recovered by the defense inbounds, it is still a touchback. Spot the ball at the 20.
The competition is good. We had to be better. Now your Chrysler Plymouth dealer offers 7.5 financing or up to $1,500 cash back on many new 85s. And Chrysler's 550 protection plan. Get 7.5 or 400 back on Plymouth Horizon, Turismo, and Reliant K. 7.5 or 1,000 back on Chrysler Fifth Avenue. 7.5 or 1,500 back on Premium LeBaron GTS or Laser XE. Only at your participating Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
Coming off their big victory over Notre Dame, Michigan tangles with highly ranked South Carolina Saturday on CFA College Football.
Mitch Ehrenberg, second-year man out of Colgate, had a great career at Colgate and a tremendous rookie season, a surprising rookie season. 1,300 all-purpose yards for the Steelers a year ago. He awaits the kickoff of Matt Barr. The Browns are going out in front, 7-0. Barr puts it up high. Ehrenberg from the 4-yard line. Ehrenberg to the 25. It'll be 1st and 10, the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, now Freddie Banks made a nice move out there on Clayton. But what set this up was the success of the running game earlier. That enabled Cleveland to go deep. Pittsburgh started playing the run. They had one-on-one coverage to the outside, and on 1st down, Gary Danielson just went deep. Actually, Banks had him beat to the outside, but the ball was thrown a bit inside. This is what I meant when I said that Freddie made a nice adjustment to the ball.
And the Browns score first. Much of that drive will go to the running and the hard hitting of Ernest Feiner, the second-year man out of East Carolina. 1st and 10, the Steelers, the ball at their own 25-yard line. They still have yet to get inside the 40-yard line of the Cleveland Browns tonight. Kind of game we anticipated. Perhaps we thought we'd see bigger plays early on. But what a defensive game we're watching. Safety blitz is on against Malone. And he hurries the pass to Louis Lips. Lips will get 5 yards out of it. And now we're going to have a late flag as there's some extracurricular activities going on. You saw the blitz. Al Gross came from the safety position for the Cleveland Browns. And there is a hassle going on at the bottom of the pile. Terry Long, the right guard, is down there.
Personal foul, 72 defense.
This is Pozzoli who draws the personal foul working against Terry Long. Dave Pozzoli played his collegiate football at Pittsburgh, and he has just hurt the Cleveland Browns as the Steelers will have a 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. 3:42 remaining in the first half. Steelers going pretty much with Lips, Weegie Thompson, and John Stallworth. Malone now struggling with 3 of 10 at 35 yards, coming off a great game against the Colts last week with 5 touchdown passes. Here's Abercrombie. And Abercrombie is hit hard from behind. Eddie Johnson pulls him down. Held him to a gain of about 2.
It's good to see Eddie Johnson back in the game. You know, they've already had an injury to their other good linebacker, Clay Matthews, and had Eddie been out of the game for a while, they would have gotten they'd have been mighty thin at the linebacker position.
Eddie Johnson says, "Don't call me that other linebacker," referring, of course, to Chip Banks, Cousineau, and Matthews. Reminder, coming up at halftime, Joe Namath had an opportunity to visit with Bernie Kosar, the Cleveland Browns wonderkind, the quarterback from Miami. We'll take a look at some of the highlights, some of the great play by quarterbacks around the NFL yesterday. 2nd down and 8. Malone trying to get it to Abercrombie, who is a good receiver downfield. Chip Banks running stride for stride from his linebacker position, had good position. Mark Malone, who holds a rather odd record for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Longest touchdown reception in franchise history. 90 yards from Terry Bradshaw back in 1981. Good athlete. He used to love to get in on the kickoff team. Used to slide in there when they weren't looking. Then in 82, that all ended with a very severe knee injury and a reconstruction through surgery. Right now, Mark Malone is looking over a 3rd down and 8. His ball club trails 7-0. The Cleveland Browns, 2:54 remaining in the first half. Malone has Louis Lips, and he does not hold on to a pass that should have been caught. Miniford is doing the celebrating, the gymnastics, but he had nothing to do with it. Lips just dropped it.
Well, Lips, being a fine runner that he is, when he got rid of Miniford, he was coming over the middle. He started to accelerate, and the ball was thrown a little behind him. It's a ball he should have caught, but he was trying to accelerate as the ball arrived.
Frank Minifield, he is a feisty little cornerback, 5'9", 180-pounder, but he will stay with you. Harry Newsom is on to punt. Clarence Weathers deep for Cleveland. Newsom, another fine kick, but again, Newsom fails to catch the corner. It almost stayed short of the end zone on the bounce, but it'll be the touchback. The Brownies will get the football at their own 20-yard line. They have a 7-0 lead. Cleveland has 3 timeouts, as do the Steelers.
The enemy. Rain. A mere 1/8 inch can float your car off the road. Thus the rationale for Vector, Goodyear's unique all-season radio. So advanced, its crisscross tread actually pumps away water to help more tire and your car stay on the road. The Goodyear Vector. It simply performs like no other tire in the world.
This bud's for everyone in uniform who keeps things running smooth.
This bud's for you. You know America takes pride in what you do.
Budweiser salutes all the men and women who have proudly served this great country.
For all you do, this bud's for you.
The competition is good. We had to be better. Now your Chrysler Plymouth dealer offers 7.5 financing or up to $1,500 cash back on many new 85s. And Chrysler's 550 protection plan. Get 7.5 or $400 back on Plymouth Horizon, Turismo, and Reliant K. 7.5 or $1,000 back on Chrysler Fifth Avenue. 7.5 or $1,500 back on Premium LeBaron, GTS, or Laser XE. Only at your participating Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
See how the future began. 4585, Wednesday on ABC.
Back at Cleveland Stadium, a sold-out Cleveland Stadium. It's a dramatic stadium built in 1931 for a cost of $3.5 million, if you can believe that. But it has seen some tremendous football. The Cleveland Browns having played here since 1947. This is Kevin Mack on 1st and 10. Tries to turn back inside, goes down in the arms of Clayton. Was hammered as he turned back inside by Hinkle. Got a yard out of it. It'll be 2nd and 9. What do you do, Joe? 2:20. The clock is moving. You have 3 timeouts. You lead by 7. You're deep in your own territory.
Yeah, well, both teams have done a good job conserving their timeouts, and I think it's a little early yet for Pittsburgh to call their timeout. They're going to go down to the 2-minute warning and then put the pressure on Cleveland. Cleveland has a 2nd and 9 situation. They almost have to throw the football. Pittsburgh will call timeout now. Yep, they didn't get to it.
Yeah, you know, they did try to.
They did get to it. They did stop the clock.
But I don't know whether the scoreboard clock says 2 minutes. Whether they were able to get it in time, I don't know. In any event, they have been given the timeout. There is referee Gene Barth trying to sort it out. We'll be back in a moment.
Oh, you're still working. I can come back. Is it morning already? You know, he'd be home by now if he had the new NCR PC6. It's nearly twice as fast as the IBM PC. And look, a brighter, sharper screen. And it's still compatible? Oh, naturellement. Are you surprised? Nope, NCR's made top computers for years. You mean you're not a little bit surprised? We'll take it. Oof, I'm proud of you.
A better computer. It's exactly what you'd expect from NCR.
Looking for a loan? Tried talking to a financial institution? Big, impersonal. Looks like you need a friend. At Beneficial, we're big.
Hi, I'm Fred.
But very personal. You'll talk to the boss when you talk to Beneficial, so there's no committee, no waiting. Everything could be wrapped up in 24 hours.
Congratulations.
Thanks, big guy.
Thank you.
Beneficial. Talk to the manager and you're talking to the boss.
Hi, I'm Mr. Taylor. My secretary made a reservation.
Yes, she requested a Camaro.
A Camaro? I'm afraid that's a bit much.
It's only $35.95 a day and fun to drive.
Well,
$35.95 a day on weekdays for a Camaro from National and only $24.95 a day on weekends. So why rent just a car when you can rent some wheels?
There it is.
hey, thanks.
You deserve national attention.
All right.
The rolling record book Walter Payton and the Chicago Bears take on Bud Grant's New Look Vikings on an NFL Thursday special, live at 8 Eastern.
The Steelers had stopped the clock before the 2-minute warning. As you can see, 2:01. They put 1 second back on the clock. So the clock will stop again for the Steelers at the 2-minute warning or at the conclusion of this play. The Browns looking over the 2nd down and 8. The ball near their 22-yard line. Danielson is going to put it up. Throws it short underneath. Mack out of the backfield. He's close to a first down up at the 30-yard line, hit by Robin Cole. Very close to the first down is Kevin Mack, the rookie out of Clemson. He was a first-round pick of the Browns in the supplemental draft of a year ago. Played for the LA Express in '84. It becomes academic as the Steelers get the holding call. That's an automatic first. Chuck Noll, in his 17th season, has done it all so quietly. Marty Schottenheimer looking on as Gary Danielson saying, let's take the yardage on the run. That's first down yardage.
You got them all.
Timeout is called. The Cleveland Browns as we go to the 2-minute warning. And Gary Danielson comes over to see Marty Schottenheimer. We'll get a chance to look at the Rams. Yesterday, first quarter action. This is Henry Ellard. He is unbelievable. He's one of the best I've ever seen at this. He had a little bit of a wall, but he broke it back inside, goes 80 yards to make it the Rams 7, the Eagles to nothing. And, of course, we'll watch Ellard next Monday night against the Seattle Seahawks, both the Rams and the Seahawks, with tremendous starts on the season. And Charlie White had his first 100-yard rushing day yesterday. Former Cleveland Brown, traded to the Los Angeles Rams. He went for 144 yards yesterday, O.J.
Oh, I'm happy for Charles, and now you see why every back in the league would like to run in John Robinson's I formation.
Of course, Eric Dickerson is back. We'll see Eric next Monday night up in Seattle. Rams going on to defeat Philadelphia 17-6. The Rams 2-0. Seattle is 2-0. Steelers have been held scoreless in the first half only once in the last 24 regular season games. Well, you say that about a lot of football teams. Miami did it last year.
Talking about Dickerson returning to the Rams and Charles White, what do you say about Kurt Warner coming back from a bad knee injury?
Well, don't you love to see that?
160-something yards yesterday. Boy, we'll see some runners. See my kind of game, Joe.
We're going to take a look at halftime at some of the great games that were played by quarterbacks yesterday. Dan Fouts, I wonder, he must be wondering, what do I have to do to win? He threw for 4 touchdowns, 440 yards, loses to Dave Craig in Seattle. Craig throws for 5 touchdowns. First down and 10. The Browns, following the 2-minute warning, have the football near their own 30-yard line. Adams, number 80, in motion. This is Biner. And Biner goes down. Holding on is Brian Hinkle. Cleveland has held Pittsburgh to 4 first downs here in the first half. Now the Steelers will use another timeout. They are down to 1. Danielson will go over once again and talk with Marty Schottenheimer. To remind you, on ABC Sunday afternoon baseball, you're going to see playoff contenders in the National League East as Pittsburgh battles the New York Mets, or Montreal takes on St. Louis. Plus, we're going to keep you up to date on the latest happenings around both leagues, so check your listing for the game and the time in your area. That's this Sunday here on ABC Sports as the pennant races are winding down. And they'll forget, Thursday night, special time, 8 o'clock. We'll be at the Metrodome in Minneapolis watching Bud Grant's Minnesota Vikings take on the Chicago Bears. And I remember we went up there last year. Remember OJ right after Minnesota had played the Bears? And you talk about walking wounded. You need a fife and drum to get them out there for the kickoff. I mean, they were really banged up by the Bears. But this could be an entirely different story. Tommy Kramer is back. He's healthy. Once again, the Bears and the Vikes. Special time Thursday night, 8 o'clock. 2nd and 10, the Cleveland Browns. Steelers down to 1 timeout. That's the time remaining in the first half, and the Browns lead 7-0. Kevin Mack. Mack with good running. He gets another first down for the Browns, and I think you'll see the Steelers forego calling their final timeout.
Well, the reason that play had worked, Brian Hinkle, the linebacker, number 53, was lined up all the way outside of the wide receiver. And so once Mack broke through the line, there wasn't an outside linebacker to give defensive support.
As a matter of fact, the Browns say, hey, we got a chance to put some more points up there. They used one of their timeouts, so they're down to 2. That's Bernie Kosar. He has his back to you. And what does he learn by sitting around and watching, Joe?
Well, he's learning certainly about what plays they're talking about calling in this kind of a situation, what philosophy. I'm sure Marty Schottenheimer, the coach, would like to move the ball down the field and get a score, but he's telling Danielson to be very careful. Bernie Kosar, when you're in a game sometime like this, we want you to move the ball, but do not turn the ball over at this stage. Don't take any chances.
Well, that last play they ran was sort of a draw play, but it proves one thing, that if you're a good play-action running team, that sometimes the play-action will improve the running game. Because the halfbacks the defensive backs will think you're not trying to run the ball, and you give it to a guy and he gets some room to run.
You're going to hear Kosar talking to Joe Namath at halftime. Right now, the Browns are looking for more points. 1st and 10. The ball at their own 43-yard line. Mack, another big opening, and all of a sudden the Browns are finding those gaping holes in the middle of that Steeler defense. Keep in mind, it's missing Gary Dunn, the nose tackle that the Steelers feel is one of the best in the league. He was unable to go tonight. They expect him back in a couple of weeks. He had arthroscopic surgery about 10 days ago. But Mack got 8 out of that. A 2nd down and 2. There's still more than a minute remaining here in the first half. And the Browns have 2 timeouts. That's Ozzie Newsome. Mack again. Flag is down. What kind of flag you get when there's holding. Brian Hinkle made the stop on Mack. So things will slow down dramatically now for the Browns. They'll be backed up.
61 offense, holding, 10-yard penalty, will replay the 2nd down.
Mike Babb holding for the Cleveland Browns, and they are backed up to the 41-yard line. 57 seconds remaining in the first half. The Browns on top, 7-0. Hard-hitting football game. Bitter AFC Central Division rivals. Both playing extra conservative, I would say. We have not seen the Steelers go for the big one. Sure, we'll see it in the second half with Louis Lips and John Stallworth on the outside. Eventually, you've got to get to it. Danielson, 2nd down and 12. Screen underneath. This is Kevin Mack. And Mack over the 45 of the Browns to the 47. Gets some of it back. It'll be 3rd down and 6. Brian Hinkle again defensively. That's the time remaining in the first half. It ticks away, and the Cleveland Browns still have 2 timeouts, and they want to use one. They're down to 1, and Gary Danielson will move over to the sideline once again. Last year, Cleveland, as I mentioned, were ahead 7 times going into the 4th quarter, and they lost 5 games. You have to think that maybe they're starting to wonder around here, do we really want to be ahead at halftime?
Well, I think the difference between last year's team and this year's is last year they didn't have that much offense, and the defense was on the field so much that by the end of the game they got tired. They just ran out of gas.
Yes, I was being facetious, but the fans here in Cleveland can remember the days of Brian Sipe and the Cardiac Kids when they used to win those games, and last year it just did a reverse on them. They have changed things, however, dramatically here in Cleveland, and one of the reasons is this young man here, Gary Danielson. I call him young because he's only been around 9 years, and he was the man they brought in really to help tutor Bernie Kosar. And as Joe mentioned at the top of the show, he just flat won the job in training camp. He had a good game against St. Louis in a losing overtime loss. 17 of 25, 68%, a couple of touchdowns, 202 yards. Not good enough. 3rd and 6. Danielson chased out of the pocket again. Gets it upfield. Nell out of bounds. We will see the punting unit come out for Cleveland with 28 seconds remaining here in the first half.
I think you can expect Pittsburgh to go after this punt, Joe.
Yeah, I would think so. They only have one timeout left. That's not going to be enough to move the ball the length of the field. So,
well, Cleveland is smart. They're lining up fast and not giving Pittsburgh the time to get their pass rush together.
That's Gossett. This is Louis Lipp. And Lipp to the 26-yard line with 18 seconds remaining here in the first half. And they mark it in an area where I'm sure the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have some second thoughts about putting up anything that might be dangerous. Ball at the 27-yard line. 1st and 10 the Steelers. Steelers with one timeout.
Well, I like that, Frank. You said putting anything up that might be dangerous. I don't see anything wrong with throwing maybe a 50-yard go pattern to one side or the other. There's nothing to lose and a lot to gain.
Just don't get it picked off down close.
50 yards downfield. That's right. That's not going to hurt anything.
Louis Lipp to the right, Pollard left. Chuck Noll wants to keep it on the ground. Frank Pollard gets good yardage out close to the 40-yard line. They'll mark it near the 38, and that will leave 12 seconds on the clock.
Now, I would go with 3 wide receivers, line 2 on one side, run them all the way down the field and bring the guy on the other side all the way across the field underneath, Joe, but deep underneath.
And look for the defensive foul and get the field goal unit on. Gooden has won again, his 21st game for the Mets. 9-0 winners over Philadelphia. A 2-hitter. He is a marvel. Walter Abercrombie. Good open field tackle. Frank Minifield. Feisty, strong, and he makes a fine tackle on Pollard. The end of the first half. Hard-hitting game. 80,000 fans love it. We'll be back with our halftime activities in just a moment. Stay with us.
Meet Detectives McCarran and Rado when they hit the wildest beat in town. Premiering Saturday at 8, 7 Central.
Doesn't it get to you?
Yeah.
Hey, say something then. Let it out. I know!
Drop in on the Hollywood beat. Then,
we're heading for Lime Street.
We insure everything from cabbage to kingdoms.
It's a very dangerous business.
That depends on your point of view.
Well, sometimes I get lucky.
Robert Wagner in the premiere of Lime Street Saturday.
You'll love it.
From Channel 4, WTAE-TV, this is an Action News Brief. Brought to you by Pittsburgh National Bank.
Good evening, I'm Sally Wiggin. These are just some of the stories we're working on for Action News. There were some tense moments just south of Morgantown, West Virginia tonight as a Union Carbide truck carrying deadly methyl isocyanate out of its Institute plant is pulled over by the company because the trailer had cracks in it. Tammy Lynn Giles, the babysitter accused of kidnapping little Michael Fitzgibbon, will be extradited to Maryland tomorrow. Michael is safe at home tonight. The prosecution rests its celebrated case against Curtis Strong, and the teacher strikes continue to spread, but it's not for lack of trying. There were more talks tonight.
And things are warming up. Summer returns to Pittsburgh. We're going to see 80 degrees again.
Sounds good. All the day's news, weather, and sports tonight, right after the football game.
Every day, thousands of our neighbors would go hungry if it weren't for a very special organization, the Greater Pittsburgh Community Food Bank. With the help of hundreds of volunteers, it provides food for more than 26,000 people in our community each month. For the special contributions that make this performance possible, we thank a lot of special people.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you.
Pittsburgh National. We're a bank that believes in performance.
Pittsburgh is great.
We're at halftime at Cleveland. A hard-hitting defensive football game. The Browns over the Pittsburgh Steelers 7-0. Tonight's halftime is being brought to you by the United States Armed Forces. It's a great place to start. We've been watching Gary Danielson work for the Cleveland Browns, but they will tell you that the quarterback of the future is this man, Bernie Kosar. Danielson said, "I'm only keeping the spot warm." This past week, Joe Namath was here in Cleveland, and he talked and visited with Bernie Kosar.
Baldwin Wallace College. This is a far cry from the University of Miami, but this is where we are because this is where the Cleveland Browns practice their football. It serves as a sort of a homecoming site for Bernie Kosar. You see, he was brought up in nearby Boardman, Ohio, and as a child, he had a dream to play for the Cleveland Browns. Well, that dream has come true. Now, it's a positive step forward for the Cleveland Browns, and Bernie's excitement is shared by the entire community of Cleveland.
Well, it was more important for the community than it was the organization. It was a civic cause. It's the first time in many years that a professional athlete said he would like to play in Cleveland. It was important to the town that we get him, and important to the team.
A transition from major college football to professional football is a big one. The defenses in the NFL are much more complicated than college footballs. The offenses are much more complicated, and it's going to take Bernie Kosar some time to learn, to get comfortable with the system. He has Greg Landry teaching him, and he has Gary Danielson playing ahead of him right now, simply because he has a lot to learn. Well, Bernie, on the sidelines during the course of a game, you send in signals, you talk to the coaches. Is this helping you learn the system of the Cleveland Browns?
I think so. It keeps me into the game. It keeps me following the game plan and what types of things the coaches like during various situations. So I think it is helping me out.
Well, how comfortable do you feel with the system at this point?
It's getting better each day. It's just a matter of getting the repetitions and a little of the playing time just to get used to what's going on around you.
As the season got underway last week, one can only imagine how difficult it must have been for Bernie to stand on the sidelines and watch. You see, he's not accustomed to being a second-string quarterback, and patience is a major key.
Well, we feel that the Cleveland Browns are in a position right now of strength at quarterback. And Gary Danielson, who we acquired in the offseason, has performed very, very well. And I feel that right now Gary is more prepared to play than Bernie. There's no question that Bernie is going to be the quarterback of the future for the Browns.
I want to be successful, obviously. I think the key to being a quarterback isn't really involved in the statistics and all that stuff. It's more of wins and losses, and I think the key for myself is once I do start playing to win.
We're not a company, but no company has more pride in what they do, or more pride in how well they do it. We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future, one that goes far beyond the ordinary, one that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, the Navy. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Two men bound together by a childhood friendship, torn apart by the systems they choose to obey.
Action. Dancing. No, Vincent, like in the old days.
These are not the old days.
Dancing, you're gonna lose this time. How many times have I been hearing what you're gonna do to me?
I'm gonna put your son in jail, and then I'm gonna put you in jail.
Our Family Honor premieres tomorrow night at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
Well, there may be a lot of great days in store for Bernie Kosar in the future, but I'll tell you, around the National Football League yesterday, there were some quarterbacks that had a great day. First of all, Dan Marino got it back together again, didn't he, Joe?
Well, he sure did, and he did it in good style, too. Dan, of course, was rusty last week against Houston, so Coach Schuller made him wear pads this week in practice when the other players didn't have to wear pads, and I think his timing improved because of it.
He had just an absolutely superb day. I mean, that was kind of an ordinary day a year ago, but coming off the action in Houston, he really was a lot different than we saw against Houston a week ago. Here he is, looking downfield. Who is it? Mark Clayton. Say, these little guys can make you look awfully good, too, can't they?
Oh, they
Coopers
do a wonderful job. They sure do. And I must admit that Dan's pass protection is one of the best pass protection lines in the league. Nat Moore. Nat's still doing a good job.
Understand that Mark Duper is going to be out for about 6 or 8 weeks. We look at John Elway, who had one of his best days of his professional career, all highs, 353 yards, 4 touchdowns, 28 of 43. Just an incredible day for John Elway.
And Butch Johnson, what he does best, gets to that secondary, gets open, and scores a touchdown. I'd like to see him do a little dance. But let's remember, as good as John is getting, he was playing against the Saints, which on defense are the Aints right now.
about Dave Craig. Now, cosmetically, he doesn't look like the Dan Marinos. He doesn't look like the Dan Fouts. He just gets it done. He had a tremendous day yesterday. 5 touchdown passes.
5 touchdown passes. Dave can do it as a quarterback passing the ball. He has a couple of great, well, good receivers anyway, in Darrell Turner, Steve Largent. But with Kurt Warner coming back and gaining 169 yards, I think this has helped his pass offense more than anything.
Seattle winning at 29-21. We're going to watch Seattle go against the Rams next week. And interestingly enough, Thursday night we have the game up in Minnesota. The Bears and the Minnesota Vikings, they're undefeated. The Rams and Seattle is undefeated. So we've got a pretty busy few days coming up.
And some fun few days coming up. I get a chance to go see Jim McMahon in the next couple of days and have a little visit. And I'm looking forward to it. Jim's off to a good start. And if the Bears can keep Jim healthy, well, heck, last year they thought they'd be in the Super Bowl had they had Jim McMahon.
Flashing back, I wonder what Dan Faust is thinking. What do I have to do to win? Dan, 4 touchdown passes yesterday against Seattle. That wouldn't do it. We'll have more highlights coming your way in just a moment. We'll be back.
Not long ago, Bill bought an AT&T PC. Bob bought another kind. When they needed better graphics and even more speed, Bob got a new one. Bill just added it on. When they needed multitasking, Bob got another new one. Bill just added it on. Because with the AT&T PC, Bill could add on new features as his needs changed. So when Bob couldn't keep up with his business, Bill just added it on. AT&T, the computers with the future built in. From AT&T, the right choice.
Tomorrow, following the presidential news conference, Tony and Angela fight it out to discover who's really the boss.
You'll love it!
From stripe-torn Northern Ireland, a champion has emerged. On June 8th of this year, young Barry McGuigan faced his greatest challenge, the WBA World Featherweight Championship. His opponent, the longest reigning current champion, Eusebio Pedrosa. McGuigan, relentless in his attack, became not only the new champion, but also a unifying symbol for his native land. Now his first title defense as he faces the #1 contender, undefeated Bernard Taylor, live on a special ABC's Wide World of Sports, September 28th.
The Chicago Bears were home at Soldier Field in Chicago for the New England Patriots yesterday. Let's pick up the action in the first series. Jim McMahon, the quarterback for the Bears, number 9, looking downfield to the often injured Dennis McKinnon, number 85. McKinnon is open, touchdown Bears. Chicago goes out on top 7-0. In the third quarter, with Chicago leading 10-0, is Jim McMahon once again. This time, he looks to his left for world-class speedster Willie Galt. Galt is there, having beat his defender. A 43-yard pickup to set up yet another Chicago touchdown. The Bears on top 17-0. But it was also a day for the Bears defense, headed by middle linebacker Mike Singletary. Eason of the Patriots is back. He's pressured. And there is Singletary with the interception. Mike also had 3 of the Bears' 6 sacks as the Bears beat New England 20-7 to remain undefeated. Meanwhile, Minnesota was in Tampa yesterday. Second quarter action, Minnesota leading Tampa Bay 10-3. Tampa Bay quarterback Steve DeBerg is back. He's looking for Jimmy Giles. The ball is tipped, however, and intercepted by number 47, Joey Browner. Browner taking the ball 15 yards for the touchdown to put Minnesota on top 17-3. Then in the fourth quarter, with Minnesota leading 24-16, Tommy Kramer back. Tommy Kramer is indeed back this year from an injury-plagued season of a year ago. And this is Ted Brown, versatile Ted Brown, 54 yards down the sideline. Minnesota remaining undefeated, defeating Tampa Bay 31-16. And Bud Grant continues to weave his personal kind of magic. The Minnesota Vikings are undefeated. The Chicago Bears are undefeated. And we'll be there at a special time, 8 o'clock Eastern on Thursday night. Thursday night, we get to watch Walter Payton. That's worth the trip for me.
Yeah, for me, too. You know, Walter broke the all-time NFL single-game rushing record against this Minnesota team. Of course, Walter had a little injury this past week, but they said shouldn't hold him out of this week's game. And Minnesota's back, Frank. I mean, it used to be a great rivalry.
I mentioned earlier, we were up there a year ago, right after the Bears had come in and just about wiped out the entire Minnesota Viking team. And I think I've never seen a team quite that low. And, of course, they played good football that night. But this is a different football team. A lot of the same personnel, but they have Ted Brown healthy again. They have Tommy Kramer healthy, and that makes a total difference for them.
Well, I think Bud Grant is the big difference. Bud Grant is the guy that he's celebrated for his sense of humor. He has the team loose this year. They seem to be enjoying playing with one another, and I think that may be the big difference, a group of guys who are having fun.
We'll be there Thursday. It'll be the Minnesota Vikings and the Bears at 8 o'clock, a special time. At halftime here in Cleveland, it's the Browns 7, the Steelers nothing. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Nissan, builders of technologically advanced cars and trucks for over 50 years. and by Light, everything else is just a light, and by Federal Express. Both teams coming back out onto the field, and we'll be back in Cleveland for second half action, the Browns and the Steelers, in just a few moments.
Boston, the city that kicked off America's fight for freedom. The fight's still going on today. That's where I come in. My mother told me never to play with guns, so I don't play. My name is Spencer.
You picked the wrong graveyard, punk. John Hancock is buried here.
Paul Revere, you don't fit.
From the series of best-selling suspense novels by Robert B. Parker, Robert Urich is Spencer for Hire, premiering Friday at 9, 8 Central.
An ABC News Business Brief, brought to you by Midas Muffler and Brake Shops. Now from New York, Dan Kortz.
Good evening. For the first time since 1914, the United States is a debtor nation. We now owe other nations more than they owe us. Saudi Arabia has reportedly made deals with Exxon, Texaco, and Mobil to produce more oil and sell it for less. Norway, another major oil exporter, also will boost production. Attorney General Meese today announced a plan to prosecute firms that overcharge the government. McDonald's has taken steps to make the company too expensive for anyone to take it over. And a congressional study says illness caused by smoking costs the U.S. $65 billion a year. Now this.
Dudley, what is it?
It's that noisy muffler down there. Go to Midas. Trust the Midas touch.
On New York financial markets, the Dow gained a point, interest on T-bills eased, gold rose a fraction, and the dollar was lower. That's Business Brief. I'm Dan Kortz.
Dodge has the best of the big three. 7.5 financing or $400 back on Omni, Charger, and Aries K. 7.5 or $500 on full-size pickups. 7.5 or $1,500 on Daytona Turbo Z and Lancer ES. Plus 5-year or 50,000-mile protection. It's a revolutionary deal from Dodge, and it's the best of the big three.
See your Pittsburgh area Dodge dealer today.
And now, Pennsylvania Lotto. Dump the balls and mix them clean. Draw the first number.
The real excitement of playing Pennsylvania Lotto is more than just choosing 6 numbers from 1 to 40. And it's more than just watching the jackpot grow. The really exciting part is watching the live lotto drawing and knowing you could win.
Draw the 6th number, please.
The Pennsylvania Lottery's Pennsylvania Lotto game. With hundreds, thousands, even millions of dollars in prizes. It could happen to you.
The only score in the football game, the Browns and the Steelers whacking away at each other for 2 periods. This is Gary Danielson, 1st and 10 from the Steelers' 17-yard line. And he finds Fred Banks, the rookie from Liberty Baptist State, who made a good move coming back inside, getting inside of Harvey Clayton for the touchdown. The Browns leading it 7-0. And it has not been a dramatic night for quarterbacks as we look deep for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's Rich Ehrenberg, Matt Barr to kick off for the Browns. Ehrenberg from the 5-yard line. Ehrenberg finds an opening. He sprawls up close to the 30-yard line, hit there by Travis Tucker. And out comes Mark Malone. He had 287 yards, 5 touchdowns, 21 of 30 last week. Tonight, in the first half, he's 3 of 12, 35 yards. His counterpart, Gary Danielson, 12 of 21, 136 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. It has been a typical Steelers-Browns game. They always seem to play it close. They have dramatic finishes. 2 teams in the AFC Central Division. Steelers won their opener. They are 1-0. The Browns lost to the Cards in overtime. They are 0-1. On first down, Malone flashed a strong arm it to John Stallworth. John Stallworth being covered by Hanford Dixon, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10. First quarter numbers, again, not dramatic. It was a very closely played game by both teams. And we resolve to the halftime stats in the Cleveland with 114 passing yards, 181 total over the Steelers' 87. And, of course, the 1 touchdown pass, Gary Danielson to Fred Banks. Mark Malone, 2nd down and 10. He'll put it up again. Good protection for Malone. And John Stallworth. No, he does not get it down. He had it for a moment. He bobbled the ball, had to get control of it, and he could not get the other foot down. Let's take a look at it. Great effort by Stallworth even to come down with it.
Well, Malone seemed to have one receiver on his mind. Stallworth was open. It's a pass John should have caught, but he had Nelson coming across the middle. Number 81, his tight end, wide open, but he's looking for John all night.
Hey, that was some out he threw, wasn't it, Joe?
Oh, it was on the money. It was on the money. Should have been a completion.
We're third down and 10. Tough pass to throw. Malone really had some smoke on it. Malone again, and this time Lewis Lips comes down with a pass similar to the one he dropped in the second quarter and gets the Steeler first down on third and long yardage out to the 46-yard line. Frank Minifield unable to stay with him. That's Minifield and Lips at the bottom of your screen. Now, there's the one bump you're allowed within 5 yards. Lips looks like he is going to take it deep and then slides inside using Stallworth a little bit as a screen. He gets the first down at the 46-yard line. Browns leading 7-0. Early moments of the third quarter here in Cleveland. Sellout crowd, 80,000 plus. Pollard, down goes Pollard. Good defensive play. Curtis Weathers filling in for an injured Clay Matthews was there. There's Gary Danielson. Applied his trade for 8 years with the Detroit Lions. May 1st, the Cleveland Browns traded a third-round draft pick to get Danielson, coming off the best year he had with the Lions. They needed him for a couple of reasons, in case Paul McDonald or Bernie Kosar were not ready to go. And they also needed him to tutor young Bernie Kosar. On second down and 11, Malone has to hurry one. Incomplete, intended for Calvin Sweeney. John Stallworth has gone out of the game. They are looking at John Stallworth's eye. We'll try to get a further report on that, but Calvin Sweeney has come in for John Stallworth. Hanford Dixon put a coverage on Calvin Sweeney. He's not afraid of Sweeney like he is John Stallworth, and he was all over Sweeney. There, they could have called that, I think, if that pass had been even remotely possible to have been caught. Third down, long yardage. Steve Morris, the rookie setback from Virginia, is in. Number 47. Well, that fooled no one. Third and long, they tried to slide it in on a trap with the rookie Steve Morse, who really made this team during the course of the preseason when Pollard and Ehrenberg were out much of the preseason with injuries. He had a big 45-yard run against the Giants in the final preseason game, and he made the ball club. Steve Morse.
That was a real good defensive stand by the Cleveland Browns. You know, starting the second half, these teams both want to establish some kind of consistency. The Steelers really wanted to get things going there, and Cleveland shutting them down, that's got to be a big boost for them. Good defensive effort.
We had a quick look at Clarence Weathers, number 85 for the Browns. He's back to take the punt of Harry Newsom, a rookie from Wake Forest. Newsom with a good effort. Well inside the 15-yard line. They'll mark it at the 13-yard line, so Harry Newsom has been flirting with it throughout the first half. He catches it here with 12:32 remaining in the third quarter, and the Browns will start deep in their own territory. We're looking forward to that one, but we have a good one here. John Stallworth will be back. He does wear contact lenses, and it could have been a problem with one of the lenses. The Browns, first down and 10, the ball at their own 13-yard line. First possession here in the second half. Danielson has it batted away. Big number 92, Keith Gary, was in the way, working against Paul Farron. They allowed the penetration. You can't do that on a pass you're trying to get out into the flat. Farron let Gary get the penetration. He just put a big paw up, incomplete.
And that was important, too, because the Browns had a good screen pass situation set up out there. They had 3 offensive linemen to the outside, and I was trying to get there, Ernest Biner.
Second down and 10. Fred Banks, the rookie, with the touchdown. The only scorer of the game is split to the left, the rookie from Delaware State. Biner, who's run well throughout this game. He has been the best offensive weapon for the Browns. He rambles for 8. It'll be third down and 2. We'll pause 5 seconds and allow our stations and friends along the line identify themselves.
Action News tonight at 11.
Hard hard-hitting football game. If you like your defense, you found it here in Cleveland Stadium with 80,000 looking on. The Cleveland Browns leading the Steelers 7-0. Both in the AFC Central Division. Bitter rivals. They have been playing for 35 years. They are also close in the overall record. On 3rd and 2, Danielson drops to Cleveland. And wide open is Harry Holt. So Harry Holt, who opened the game for the Browns with a big pickup and a first down here in the early going of the third quarter, gets the Cleveland first down at the 45-yard line. Wayne Woodruff made the stop. Look at it again from the end zone. Harry Holt has been playing most of the game tonight, along with Ozzie Newsome. When you're doubling up to stop Ozzie Newsome, as most teams do, you come back to Harry Holt, who is a terrific receiver up at BC in the Canadian Football League for 5 years before he came back to perform here for the Browns 3 years ago. First and 10, Cleveland at their 45-yard line. Play action by Danielson. Trying to get it deep. Nothing doing deep. Fred Banks went on a fly pattern. Fooled absolutely no one, particularly not number 21, Eric Williams. They really are hammering Ozzie, aren't they?
Yeah, that's Ozzie trying to come off the ball. It's unusual. A guy like Merriweather, he's only 6'2", 215 pounds. Normally, he would not be playing your strong side linebacker, but he has that upper body strength, and he's able to play those big guys.
Yeah, Ozzie Newsome, if he were the prime pass receiver on that, it would have been a different Ozzie Newsome. He battles off that line of scrimmage as good as any tight end's ever played the game. Second down and 7. Kevin Mack is a single setback, the rookie from Clemson, number 34. Browns at their own 48-yard line. Mack. Browns have worked well inside. This time, however, Mack is held for about a 3-yard pickup. It'll bring up third down and a long 3.
Well, it's a running game that has opened everything up for Cleveland here tonight on that big third down pass to Holt. They did a little play action pass. Pittsburgh expected them to run the ball, and normally you're blocking, your tight end is blocking.
Miner comes in, Mack goes out. Third down, a long 3 situation. Fred Banks is split to the left. Adams up at the top of your screen. Newsome and Holt are in there also. Blitz is on, and Danielson really got whacked. Boy, if he gets up, I'll tell you, he was hit by David Little, a tremendous shot. He was able to get it off in the general area of Fred Banks. And Danielson, I'm quite sure, is just gritting his teeth because he was really hit by David Little. Left side of your screen, number 50. And Joe, when you have just released the ball, you're most vulnerable.
Oh, certainly in that rib cage area, too. That's why these black jackets and rib pads have become so prominent in the NFL.
That's Jeff Gossett punting for Cleveland. Louis Lips took the ball, but had his right foot out of bounds. So Gossett will get credit to the 15-yard line for a net average. So the Steelers still down by 7. Will have possession, the ball near their own 15-yard line.
The world is divided in half. Some can go to the net, some can't. There are good backhands and bad ones. And most important to Bic, some guys have normal skin while others have more sensitive skin. So Bic made the new Bic Orange. It shaves sensitive skin gently and closely. So for normal skin like mine, the original Bic White Shaver. And for sensitive skin, the new Bic Orange. Oh, by the way, some people love John McEnroe, and some people,
Nissan is no stranger to racing or to winning. This is our newest bolt of lightning, the Nissan GTP ZX Turbo. Inspired by the revolutionary Z-Car engine, this dynamo has 2 missions. To prove technology on the track that'll someday affect every Nissan we put on the road, and to take on the best and win. In both cases, we expect to do just fine. The name is Nissan.
For over 50 years, there's been a unique insurance corporation. A corporation that insures only one thing, your money. But what makes it even more special is that it has the full faith and credit of the United States government behind it. The Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation. Your money is safe, not just because it's insured, but because of who insures it.
Mark Malone set to go. The Steelers first and 10 near their own 15-yard line. 9:57 remaining in the third quarter. For those of you who might be interested, Ron Springs, who was a starting fullback for the Cowboys up until 4 games from the end of last season for 3 years, has been signed to a 1-year contract by Tampa Bay. And Mark Duper, with a hairline fracture of the tibia of the Miami Dolphins, is out anywhere from 8 to 10 weeks. First and 10 Steelers. Abercrombie in motion number 34, and this is Frank Pollard. Down goes Pollard. Eddie Johnson, seeing the play go away from him. He is a fine linebacker. Nobody cut him off. He just pursued and caught Frank Pollard.
But you know, Curtis Weathers did a good job of having the outside contained. Pollard had nowhere to go outside, and Eddie Johnson just caught him from the backside. It was good defense by Weathers and Johnson.
We probably should have talked more about the fact that Clay Matthews, we mentioned it at the top of the game, couldn't go tonight because of a sore back. He's an outstanding outside linebacker. But Curtis Weathers, who's also a back tight end, has done a pretty fine job tonight filling in. There was a loss for 3 on that. Second and long. Malone, he's got a man deep. It's Louis Lips. And a good recovery by Frank Minifield. Lips had him for a moment and forced Malone to throw it over the outstretched fingers of Louis Lips with his recovery. It was a drive to the inside on the part of Louis Lips, and a good recovery by Minifield.
Well,
he turned around for a moment.
He had him turn around. He had him beat by about 2 steps, but Minifield showed that he has a lot of extra speed because he closed the ground on Louis Lips, and no way he can catch the ball.
Malone, what a difference a day makes. He was 21 of 30 last week. He's 4 of 17 tonight, 51 yards. He had nearly 300 last week against the Colts. Third down, 13. A lot of time, just good coverage. Ouija Thompson, the intended receiver, and the entire Brown secondary closed on Thompson. And Malone, who had a lot of time, had to hold it, try to squeeze it in there, and couldn't do so.
Well, that time the Browns uncharacteristically played a combination zone defense back there, and Malone just couldn't find an open receiver. The Browns were all over the place in the secondary.
Procedure call against the Steelers naturally declined. Harry Newsom comes out to do the punting for the Steelers, and Clarence Weathers drops, and the Browns should have good field position. Weathers respecting Newsom, who's shown a rather large foot here tonight, the rookie from Wake Forest. Weathers has dropped to the Browns' 45-yard line. Browns looking to block it. Off the side of his foot as Newsom hurries it. It does take a Steeler bounce and will carry inside the 40-yard line. Not a very good kick, but it took a solid Steeler bounce, and the Cleveland Browns will have possession at their own 39-yard line when we come back to Cleveland.
At a sticker price of $59.99, this Nissan lists for $1 more than our leading competitor's standard truck. But look what you get for your buck. A bigger engine, bigger payload, a 5-speed, steel-belted radials, welded double wall bed, all for $59.99. Nissan, it's a lot more truck for $1.
But hurry, time's running out to save lots of bucks. 8.8% financing ends October 2nd. The name is Nissan.
This fall, millions of people will change their antifreeze, but not their radiator hoses. It's an easy mistake to make, because hoses can look good outside even when they're wearing out inside. So put in Quality Gates hoses the next time you change antifreeze. Because if your hoses go, your car won't.
You've got to get him back. And when you've got him, you head for the mountains. Busch. Head for the beer that goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Busch. Brewed the natural way for a taste as smooth as its name. Busch.
Head for Busch beer. Head for the mountains.
Sunday, it's television's biggest night, the 37th Annual Emmy Awards on ABC.
The Steelers, who went to the AFC Championship game a year ago while the Browns were 5-11, have watched their total offensive output doubled by the Browns, but the Browns only lead by 7. And Danielson trying to quiet a crowd of 80,000 plus here at Cleveland Stadium. 1st and 10, the Browns from their own 40-yard line. Miner lost the handle for a moment. He came back to get it, but he'll lose 3 back to the 37-yard line as the Steelers, well, they just can't get anything happening offensively. They're not hurting themselves, however, and they're staying close, O.J.
Well, the big reason is we hear so much about these Browns linebackers. They've taken Pittsburgh's running backs and their tight ends out of the passing game completely just by being better athletes.
And, of course, Steelers really do not have an offensive tight end. Certainly not the caliber of an Ozzie Newsome. Two people do, but with Benny Cunningham on the IR, they've got a Nelson in there who has only 2 receptions in his 2-year career. And the 2nd and 14, the draw play to Kevin Mack, big opening. And Mack appended on a good open field tackle by Donnie Shell. Gets some of it back out to the 43-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 7.
Well, it's a draw play. Once again, this draw play is set up by all those play actions. The linebackers, look at the size of this hole. That's because the linebackers of Pittsburgh are not going to be fooled and thinking it's a play action. They want to cover the pass, and these holes will begin to open for you.
At the 44-yard line, 3rd down and 7. Browns were last in the playoffs. Back in the strike season, they went to the playoffs with a 4-5 record. Prior to that, they had not been in the playoffs since 1972. Pressure coming from Gary against Danielson. And now, Edmund Nelson. And Danielson, open field, and hook slide for the 1st down, close to the 40-yard line. Listen to the crowd. Gary Danielson, he was all over the field. Keith Gary looked like he had zeroed in on him, number 92, and then Edmund Nelson, number 64, just couldn't catch him from behind, and I guess you could say that Gary Danielson has had a lot of practice over the past few years up at Detroit. Scrambled well tonight. The Browns, 1st and 10, inside the 43-yard line of the Steelers. Play action. Danielson gets it to Kevin Mack. And the rookie from Clemson, good running. Again, good heads-up work on the part of Gary Danielson. He had a blitz man right in his face, calmly got it to Kevin Mack, and Mack provided the rest of the work.
What happens here is Dwayne Woodruff, the quarterback for the Steelers, comes on a blitz, and we have one-on-one covered with Mack out here. Well, heck, there's no one out there on him. They couldn't get to him. It looked like Donnie Shell tried to get over there, and he just couldn't do it. It was a cornerback blitz.
6:05 and the clock is moving. Remaining the 3rd quarter, the Browns on top, 7-0. So many times the Steelers have blown out an opponent to come back the next week and suffer, if you will, a letdown. Steelers not the aggressive team at this moment that we saw in the first half even. There's Biner and the Browns offensive line. Pike, Babb, Milja, and Robert Jackson just surging forward. Flags are down. Personal foul, Steelers. Chuck Noll likes disciplined football. Past year, he went on the competition committee of the NFL. He does not like to see what happened there a moment ago. Automatic 1st down. Browns inside the 10-yard line. Personal foul, Steelers.
What you're watching now is simply muscle football by Cleveland. If you look at their offensive line next to the Washington Redskins, they have to be the biggest line in football, and they're just taking the man in front of them and blowing them out of there on 1st down.
I think Pittsburgh also is getting frustrated at this point, and that frustration possibly was the reason that they got this personal foul.
Pike, 280 at right guard. Babb at center, 270. Milja, 270. Jackson, 260. That's the offensive line that's doing the work in the middle for the Browns. On 1st down, Biner to the 5-yard line. Johnny Davis, they bring him in there the big youngster from Alabama, number 38. He doesn't carry the football much, but what a fine blocker he's been over the years, primarily for Mike Pruitt in past years. Now he's providing the same kind of effort for Biner on this drive.
Well, they're running over 69 Dan Fike at 280 and Cody Reeson at 280. They're just blowing them out over there.
The two backs. That's Johnny Davis up front, number 38. Biner is in the tailback spot. Watch him work. Davis got a block. Biner looked to the inside, down to about the 2-yard line. This is just power football. And Biner has been running like this all night if you have not been with us. 10th round pick a year ago from East Carolina. Would have led the AFC in rushing average a year ago at 5'9" if he had enough attempts.
It takes 100 attempts to qualify. The guy who had those 100 attempts and averaged 6 yards was Hokie Guyjon of New Orleans. Biner only had 72 attempts.
Third down, goal to go. Timeout called by Cleveland. Gary Danielson looked over the goal line defense, did not like it. Leading 7-0. Precarious lead at this point. He didn't want to mess it up. He used the timeout.
Are you as happy with your car as these Nissan Sentra owners?
Sentra drives super. It is the easiest shifting car I've had yet. It's absolutely wonderful.
It feels great going around the corners, and it really hugs the road.
You have the comfort of a large car, all put into a small, compact car.
Sentra, America's most popular import.
Have you ever driven a Sentra yourself? Well, you must, because believe me, once you do, you're going to be sold also.
The name is Nissan.
John Houseman for Smith Barney.
When it comes to personal service, today's Gulliver-sized firms are often tied in knots. They make their customers feel like Lilliputians. Smith Barney is managed on a human scale. Big enough to offer an array of investment services, not too big to treat clients as individuals. Smith Barney, they make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Still beautiful, Dad.
Took your brother through college, take you wherever you want to go.
On Quaker State.
Right. Smooth oil flow is what you want, protects the engine. See, Quaker State starts with Pennsylvania-grade crude, delivers stable viscosity.
You get great protection with the big Q.
Hey, how come you know so much?
From listening to you.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Coming off their big victory over Notre Dame, Michigan tangles with highly ranked South Carolina Saturday on CFA College Football.
3:46 remaining in the third quarter from Cleveland Stadium. The Browns leading 7-0. Have a third down and goal to go. They're near the 1-yard line of the Steelers. Biner follows Davis. No. Held short. They stopped the clock to untangle the players. It'll be fourth down. And Matt Barr is already coming out onto the field. Matt Barr, rather. Good play by Merriweather, number 57, getting in there. Just slowing Biner enough to get help from the inside to keep Biner out of the end zone. And out comes Matt Barr.
And the fans are booing. They would rather see him go for a touchdown. But the way their defense is playing, doesn't look like Pittsburgh can get 2 scores on the board.
An 18-yard attempt, chip shot for Matt Barr, who has a string of 13 going at the moment. And now the Browns are assured that the Pittsburgh Steelers will have to score twice to take the lead or tie. 18-yard field goal, Matt Barr. Hard-hitting game is what we anticipate Thursday up in Minneapolis, the Metrodome. The Bears going against the Vikings. We'll be watching Walter Payton. We have 4 undefeated teams coming up in a very few days. And then on Monday, we'll be out in Seattle. We'll watch the Seattle Seahawks, Chuck Knox's boys, going against the Rams. Eric Dickerson is back for the Rams. Dave Craig coming off fantastic game against the San Diego Chargers, in which he threw 5 touchdown passes. 4 undefeated teams.
Boy, that should be something. Eric didn't pick the best week to come back. I mean, Jacob Green and the boys up there in Minnesota, up in Seattle, are going to be waiting for him.
Charlie White with 144 yards. Ehrenberg is back for the Steelers, and they're going to have to loosen it up. Matt Barr hangs it high and short, and Ehrenberg works out over the 27. I think you saw all the flags. They were all over the field. Referee Gene Barth in there to sort it out. And it'll work against the Steelers. Here's the call.
Number 90 of the receiving team, illegal block in the back. 10-yard penalty and then a first down.
They're not taking anything away from the Cleveland Browns defense. They have been awfully good tonight, Joe. But what do? You got Mark Malone. He was 300 yards, 5 touchdowns a week ago, and they just really shortened him up tonight.
Well, again, Cleveland's not trying to fool them. They're coming up and playing man-to-man coverage all the time, or most of the time anyway. You know, we had a couple of big drop passes there early. Ouija dropped the one. John Stallworth dropped a couple of passes. It could be a different game. I look to Malone to start throwing the ball more often.
From the 11-yard line, and they will put it in the air. And Malone again with a lot of time, and Stallworth is open. He has a first down out of the 25-yard line in front of Hanford Dixon. Interesting, Hanford Dixon, a few moments ago, we saw him covering Calvin Sweeney all over him right at the line of scrimmage when Stallworth was out with a damaged eye. Stallworth comes back, and Hanford Dixon was laying way off. The great one. Clock moving at 2:40. 2 setbacks. Abercrombie 34, Pollard 30 for the Steelers. Malone again. He's getting the time to throw the ball, and he fires into Stallworth once again. And the Browns, with a 10-0 lead, can ill afford to let up. That's 2 consecutive passes now. Malone has had all the time you could wish for to pass.
Well, again, both passes were on first down, and they have been running the ball on first down a good bit of the time, so he's not getting any pressure. And boy, Don Rogers puts a nice hit on Stallworth that time.
Here's the one they like to compare to Kenny Easley of the Seattle Seahawks, whom we'll see on Monday night. Free safety for the Browns and the 20, Don Rogers. This is Frank Pollard. Pollard, nowhere to go outside, tries to go over. Gets a couple, and Chip Banks puts the hit on him. Bob Golick also sliding out there from nose tackle. Out of pride, these Cleveland Browns. Marty Schottenheimer, after losing in overtime, after leading the game against the Cardinals with 38 seconds remaining, got the team in the locker room and said, we're not the Browns of old. We're not going to lose games that we lead going into the fourth quarter. He said, I want to get rid of that thought right now. Fine young coach on the way up. With 2nd down and 8. Stallworth split left. Louis Lips to the right. Stallworth is down there once again, and this time good defensive plays. The duel continues between 29 Hanford Dixon and John Stallworth, number 82.
Well, that was a pretty good defensive play, but he did come to the right receiver, and he was open. He threw the ball a little bit high. Had the ball been down and a little bit to the outside, I think it would have been a completion. He's open again. Mark does come to the right man. Well, heck, he could have had that one.
3rd down, a long 6 for Mark Malone, who's getting the time to put the ball in the air. They're proud of the secondary here in Cleveland. I can understand why. Frank Minifield has shown awfully well tonight, working against Louis Lips. Dixon has done well against Stallworth. Movement, flags are down. Malone tried to get it to Ehrenberg. It's incomplete. But again, the flags were down, and there appeared to be movement on the part of the Cleveland Browns.
72 defense, offside. 5-yard penalty will receive 3rd down.
Pizzoli offside for the Browns. That'll give Pittsburgh another shot. I mentioned earlier that Hanford Dixon laid the label, the dogs of the defense, on the Cleveland Browns secondary. There they are with their particular pooches. I don't see any golden retrievers in there like Charlie. 3rd down and 1. Charlie's my goal.
Charlie, I know.
If I mention him, he sits up, rolls over, puts his ears up. Charlie. Offside penalty. The Steelers have a third, and it's a long one, and they'll put it in the air. Ehrenberg is out there, and he gets the first down. Ehrenberg has moved into Cleveland Brown territory. We're inside. 1 minute remaining here in the third quarter. Pittsburgh starting to make a move. They trail 10-0. Ehrenberg really turned into a fine player. He had possession, rolled over on it, covered it very quickly. But they got him a year ago, and he was a 9th-round pick after having broken the records with Marv Hubbard and Mark Van Egan at Colgate. He turned into being Mr. Everything for the Steelers. And he gets the first down. 47-yard line of the Browns. Malone again back. Through the hands of Darren Nelson. A little too much on that to be handled. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I'm a little surprised that Rich Ehrenberg isn't in the game more often now. We know Pittsburgh must throw the football, and Ehrenberg is probably their most disciplined pass route runner out of the backfield.
He is a good one. And of course, we mentioned earlier that Malone with nearly 300 yards last week, 5 touchdowns, is not having one of the better nights. He's getting a little more time here in the third quarter. He had a lot of pressure on him in the first half, but more than it being Malone's fault, the Cleveland defense has been superb. Screen. And Pollard with a good move. They had read the screen, but Pollard was able to shake off the tackle, and he'll get a Steeler first down close to the 35-yard line.
Tom Cousineau really did read the screen well that time. He got his hands on Pollard, but he just couldn't quite hold on to him. Pollard, of course, he's a strong runner. Had Tom not slowed him down some, I believe he'd have gotten another 10, 12 yards.
Yeah, that's the tackle you have to make, because Cousineau obviously was a contained man on the screen. He misses the tackle at the line of scrimmage, and Pollard gets about 11 yards out of it. More importantly, a first down at the 36-yard line. And this should be the last play of the third quarter, as Pittsburgh has moved to inside the 40-yard line, their deepest penetration of the night, and that ball was batted away. Driving across the line of scrimmage, batting it away, was Chip Banks. And again, tempers are flaring. Well, with the quick incompletion, they still have 2 seconds remaining in the third quarter, and the Steelers with a 2nd down and 10. There is Walter Abercrombie. He's a good receiver out of the backfield. And there, of course, is Chuck Noll. He came in '69, probably forgotten by most because of his remarkable career. In his first year, he was 1-13. And he has had 13 years of non-losing football. He has won 4 Super Bowls. 2nd down and 10. Malone has the time, fires to Louis Lips. He doesn't handle it, thrown low. And he was very open in front of Frank Minifield. That's the end of the third quarter. Cleveland leading the Steelers 10-0. We'll be back with fourth quarter action.
The saga of the men and women who live, love, and die by the proud and silent code of our family honor. Premieres tomorrow night at 9, 8 Central on ABC.
People around here can't seem to get enough of their Steelers or their hometown brew. So here's to deep tradition and the deep down satisfying taste of a cold Iron City beer.
Well, you can't pump an iron in Cincinnati, Kansas City, or Tampa Bay. You can't pump an iron too far away from Pittsburgh, PA.
But now here's the deep tradition, the deep down satisfying taste.
Pump an iron
to the one that's brewed right here.
Pump an iron.
My Iron City beer. Well, you can't pump it.
The Atlantic difference.
Some people have already discovered the Atlantic difference. They make more money at Atlantic. Make more money at Atlantic. Some people keep more of what they make with broker discounts, lower credit costs, and tax shelters at Atlantic. Keep more of what you make at Atlantic. Atlantic Financial. We can make a difference. Here's another way.
We can make a difference.
along with Joe Namath, O.J. Simpson. And I wonder if the Cleveland Browns are starting to think about what's happened to them so many times in the past, particularly last year. 7 times they had fourth quarter leads. 5 times they came away losing those games. They got a little paranoid about it. They did it last week in the opener against St. Louis. And Marty Schottenheimer says, we're not going to do that again. Steelers as we begin the fourth quarter. 3rd down and 10. The ball at the 36-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Malone is back again. Had a lot of time. Wide open is Ouija Thompson. Yes, but a flag is down. It could be holding. That time Ouija held on. Holding against the Steelers.
Well, a big break for Cleveland. They came with an all-out blitz. They had single coverage in the secondary, and Ouija does what he does best. Goes up after the ball and holds on to it. Malone finally threw a strike, but all for naught. Holding penalty.
Larry Brazil is providing the coverage on Ouija Thompson. Single coverage, I might add, as they double up on Louis Lips and John Stallworth. It all goes for naught. The Steelers could have drawn to within 3. And now they're looking at a 3rd down and 20. Ball in the Browns' territory near the 47-yard line. Mark Malone looks it over. The 6th defensive back is in. Browns bring 3. It's deflected. The attempt was to Louis Lips. And dropping deep and coming up with a deflection was Eddie Johnson, number 51.
It's a good indication of things to come. They're throwing that ball downfield, and the Pittsburgh receivers are finally getting open.
Yeah, well, that time Cleveland had a 4-man rush, and they dropped back into a zone, and the linebacker, well, matter of fact, he did get back deep enough because he deflected the ball. I didn't see who deflected the
Eddie
ball.
Johnson.
Eddie Johnson, all right.
Earlier in the game, they had to take him out. Joey made a big play. Lips was open. Weathers is deep. Newsom looking for the corner. He'll catch the end zone. And the Browns will have the football back at their 20-yard line. We're in the fourth quarter. AFC rivals, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. Steelers, 13 seasons. They have played without a losing record. The Browns 5-11 a year ago. They last went to the playoffs in '82 with a 4-5 record, going to play by the Raiders. They were defeated by the Raiders in the playoffs in 1980. Prior to that, it had been 1972 since the Browns were there. They feel this is the year they can get there once again. First and 10, the Browns near their 20-yard line. First down out over the 30-yard line. Donnie Shell there defensively. Former #1 draft pick who struggled through so many years with injuries. Finally starting to play as if he can play in this league.
That play really worked because Donnie Shell did have the short zone defense. When Cleveland went into motion, they changed their coverage, and Dwayne Woodruff dropped very deep that time to get plenty of room out there.
Danielson, 15 of 26 on the night, 190 yards, the 1 touchdown, the 1 interception. Browns leading 10-0. We're in the fourth quarter. That's Newsom, 82 in motion, and here comes Biner. And Biner this time is piled up. Getting there first was David Little, number 50. There'll be a loss on the play. It's been like that all night, just when you think a team is going to get something happening, except for that one drive by the Browns. All of a sudden, you look up and there will be a loss on the play. They try the running play. It'll be Little for the Steelers. It'll be a big play made by the Browns. Eddie Johnson or Chip Banks. Been that all night. Second down and 11. Newsom again in motion. Danielson is sacked. That's Mark Catano, who now is filling in for the injured Gary Dunn as the Steelers rotate their defensive linemen. It's Catano right at the nose tackle, just tossing off Mike Babb. Good move by Catano.
He had two men on him at one time. The right guard also blocked him.
From Valdosta State. You don't see a lot of Valdosta Staters around. Third down, 19. Catano being the only player in the league from Valdosta State. Danielson again. Merriweather, tough to get away from Merriweather. He's a superb athlete. Pro bowler from a year ago. 15 sacks he had last year. He is a force on the defense. And now the Browns, who had a 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line, are all the way back to their 11-yard line, and the Steelers are going to get it back in good field position.
Now, that was the 5th sack for Pittsburgh tonight. It seems that the only time the Browns can throw the ball and have time is when they run play-action pass.
Well, you know, I was talking with Paul Warfield earlier, and they're putting this Cleveland team back together piece by piece, but he knows, he's telling me the offensive line certainly isn't where they want it yet.
That's a good punt by Gossett. Here comes Louis Lips. He's dangerous. Really dangerous. Gossett to left. Man that could stop him, and Gossett, the punter, made a saving tackle at the 20-yard line, but Lips, who is a rookie, set an NFL record for rookie return men over 600 yards, has got the Steelers back in it.
And this is the first punt return he's had tonight. First time they've had him in there. I think Chuck Noll will think twice before taking him out again. It's just a perfect wall on the right side, and I'm surprised Louis couldn't beat that last man.
That was a great tackle, a great saving tackle by Jeff Gossett, the punter. And Lips has reeled one off for 38 yards. I think, depending upon how the offense goes, I think that's when Chuck Noll will work him in and out as a punt return man. And he's been working heavily. He'll bring in Rick Woods. The Steelers now with a strong threat. Ehrenberg in motion. Malone is back. Fires to Ehrenberg. And Ehrenberg, who works so well down in close, discipline patterns, gets a pickup of about 9. Al Gross made the stop.
Well, we wondered where Rich Ehrenberg, where he was hiding earlier in this game. If they're going to throw the ball to the wide receivers, they're going to have to complete some to the tight ends and the running backs. And Ehrenberg seemed to be the man.
Lots of time remaining. These two teams are battling in typical Steelers-Browns fashion. 12-15 in the clock, ticking away. Second down, a long yard for the first. Malone wants it all. Fires the shot, Stallworth, and the Steelers are on the scoreboard. No flags on this one. And the Steelers, who played it so conservatively early in the game, when they got behind 10-0, all of a sudden they started putting the football in the air, and they started moving the football. Good move by Stallworth as he duels again with Hanford Dixon. Tough to cover down there. I don't care how close you are to the goal line when you play it very tight. It's tough to cover John Stallworth by yourself. Gary Anderson will attempt to draw the Steelers to within 3. Scott Campbell is the holder for the Steelers. There's John Stallworth, Mr. Steady. He's been around 12 years, and he does it ever so well right now in his 12th year of his career.
Give me a light. Bud Light. Cold but chilly.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get. Give me a light. Bud Light. So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Well, give me a light. No, Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
On October 2nd, the curtain is coming down. On October 2nd, the only factory-sponsored compact truck financing available is coming to an end. Miss October 2nd and you could miss saving hundreds of dollars in interest payments, up to $600 on this Nissan truck, up to $1,300 on this one. The end is October 2nd. The name is Nissan.
If you're waiting to buy a personal computer, you may have questions about power, expandability, and dollars and cents. For the complete answer, take a close look at IBM. An IBM PC runs thousands of programs, expands easily, and prices are better than ever. So don't wait. Once you take the first step,
The rest come easy. IBM Personal Computers.
An ABC News special CBS calls a class act all the way. A masterly chronicle of America's role in the world, says Time magazine. 4585, Wednesday.
You're looking at Glenn Young. He's deep for the Cleveland Browns, former Philadelphia Eagle. And here is Gary Anderson to kick off. He usually puts it in the end zone. Right at the goal line. Glenn Young will bring it back. And Young hammered at the 25, falls out to the 28. Hit there first by Steve Morris, the rookie from Virginia. But now, what do the Cleveland Browns do? The momentum taken away from them somewhat. Louis Lips sparking that touchdown drive with a 38-yard punt return. Mark Malone getting the touchdown shot to John Stallworth. And here comes Gary Danielson. Tough competitor. He's had to be tough tonight. He was really whacked around in the first half. At the 28-yard line, 1st and 10 Cleveland. We're in the fourth quarter. 11:55 remaining. Ball is loose. There's a scramble. Feiner coughed it up. It was mishandled in the exchange between Danielson and Feiner.
I hate to see it back. This time of the season, regular season, a mishandled handoff. The weather's ideal. I don't know why they're having these problems with two handoffs, fumbles.
You get that more on the natural turf too. You get sand, and particularly when you're coming out of the infield like that, you get sweat, you get it on your wrist. Tough to handle sometimes.
Well, I tell you one thing, Marty hasn't convinced this team that the fourth quarter is theirs yet, because on the last series they came out, there was a lot of confusion as to where they should line up, and they seem to be having a lot of confusion now. Everybody's looking to the sideline, making arm gestures.
2nd down and 12, and in the confusion, they have to call timeout. And the Cleveland Browns, they lead by 3, 10-7, 11:22 remaining in the third quarter, but the Browns have one timeout remaining. That could hurt later.
No matter how hard you work, Right Guard can help keep you smelling good for up to 24 hours.
You work hard, you need Right Guard.
This is Brush Plus from Gillette. A shaving concentrate and brush in one. A brush to lift whiskers, a concentrate to soften them. A shave that is superior. Brush Plus for a superior shave.
When it's icy cold and the wires are down and they're spitting sparks all over the ground, you gotta go. Can't fool around. That's why America goes with Prestone.
A fresh fill of Prestone 2 antifreeze fights freeze-up and rust-up, too. A radiator could look this bad after just 10,000 miles of driving on weak, neglected antifreeze, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. Get the Prestone difference.
America goes and goes and goes with Prestone.
This is one of Nissan's most technologically advanced cars. It has computer-controlled carburation, a 4-cylinder overhead cam engine, 5-speed transaxle for precise front-wheel drive handling. Surprisingly, this is also Nissan's lowest-priced car, the Sentra, America's best-selling import. For an economy car that doesn't skimp on technology, the name is Nissan.
The rolling record book Walter Payton and the Chicago Bears take on Bud Grant's New Look Vikings on an NFL Thursday special, live at 8 Eastern.
And the caravan moves on to Seattle, where we'll watch the Seattle Seahawks get it on with the LA Rams. All four of those teams coming up on our schedule undefeated. 2nd down and 12. Browns a little disorganized here in the early going of the fourth quarter. Complete out of the backfield. It's Ernest Feiner. He's short of the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Robin Cole was there defensively for the Steelers. Browns came out, and they looked invincible defensively in the first half. They had a 7-0 lead at halftime. Extended that to a 10-0 lead. And then all of a sudden, Louis Lips turned in a 38-yard punt return. A few moments later, it was Mark Malone hitting John Stallworth. 3rd and 3. Anderson, incomplete. Kevin Mack out of the backfield. And now Now the Browns will have to punt. Hold on, a flag is down. Referee Gene Barth lost his hat.
Holding on 74 offense and a personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct on 99 defense. The fouls will offset. Will replay the third down.
So the third down, long three once again. Darrell Sims, number 1 draft pick for the Pittsburgh Steelers, reacting to a hold by Paul Farron. And that is a rookie mistake. If you don't get the personal foul, the Steelers would have had the football back.
And he'll hear about that if Cleveland gets a first down here. I'd hate to be in his shoes tomorrow or in the locker room when this game
You can
goes.
just see that cold stare of Chuck Noll. He doesn't say that much, but you know when he's unhappy. A long three. Danielson. Red Bank. Wayne Woodruff. And now Banks has dropped 3. 2 in the first half that could have made a big difference in the early going of this game. The rookie from Liberty Baptist State.
You know, the ball's not that slippery. It can't be because the quarterback wouldn't be able to throw it accurately. If it was, we've had more drop passes tonight than I've seen in quite a while.
Wonder how many times he played in front of 80,000 people at Liberty Baptist State.
Well, he should be out there concentrating on the job. I'm sure he is.
Gossett, the punt, off the side of his foot, and it takes a bounce, hit a Brown, is automatically dead right there. Oh, and again, the Browns are really making a lot of errors. That's Larry Brazil. He was down there, didn't know where the ball was, got hit by it. It's automatically dead at that point. That ball probably would have bounded to about the 25-yard line. As it is, the Steelers will get it back at the 33-yard line. CFA college football this Saturday here on ABC. Michigan, they're coming off that upset win over Notre Dame. They're going to take on Joe Morrison's highly ranked South Carolina Gamecocks. Joe Morrison, of course, the former New York Giant, a teammate of mine who's done such a tremendous job down there. Our coverage will begin at 3 o'clock Eastern here on ABC. First down and 10. The Steelers trailing 10-7. They have the ball at their own 33-yard line. Mark Malone, who's getting a lot of time, will get a holding call. And wide open downfield is John Stallworth. And Chip Banks was on the coverage, but they'll bring that one back. And Steelers have really hurt themselves tonight with the holding call. They're going to bring another first down back. Ray Snell.
Holding, 72 offense, 10-yard penalty. Will replay the first down.
Ray Snell, number 72, holding. And back the Steelers up 10. Watch the right side of the screen. You'll see it. Working hard there against Hairston, veteran, former Philadelphia Eagle. Had his arm locked. And the Steelers back to their 23-yard line. First down and 20. Weegie Thompson up at the top of your screen. He's been the big play man on the pass receiving end. Abercrombie. There's some on the left side. Chuck Noll being a little cautious deep in his own territory. Curtis Weathers made the stop, a gain of only a couple.
And that was a bit cautious too, Frank. We mentioned earlier that the quarterback's calling their own plays possibly has more liberty to call the audibles. He had one-on-one with both wide receivers that time, and Weegie Thompson being 6'6" and Frank Minifield 5'9". I believe I would have had to gone outside with the ball.
Would not been a bad auto at all. You don't want to make the mistake at this point. Both coaches aware so many of these games have hinged on the turnover. Second and 18. Abercrombie. Great defensive effort by Eddie Johnson, who's playing superb football tonight.
It depends, you know, a lot of things happen when turnovers occur, but you can't play football being frightened or scared. You have to go after it now and then. And the point I was trying to make, he had plenty of time to call an audible when he saw the one-on-one situation outside, and I think he should have gone to it.
He won't get it now on 3rd and 16. The prevent defense comes in. 4 defensive backs in. Larry Brazil checks in with Chris Watkins. They're in there with Minifield, Gross, Rogers, and Dixon. Weegie Thompson splits to the left. Louis Lipp, top of your screen. Stallworth is in the slot. Malone trying to get it. Deep once again to Thompson, and Thompson double covered Brazil was deep. Rogers was underneath. And a flag is down again. Tippers are really short here tonight.
Holding, 74 offense, penalty refused, fourth down.
Terry Long has hurt the Steelers once again, although the Browns simply decline that penalty and they bring out the punting unit. The Steelers have hurt themselves. Really uncharacteristic of the Steelers to get all of these penalties. They've had 2 or 3 big first down plays negated with penalties. Weathers drops for the Cleveland Browns inside his 30-yard line. Newsom has been very busy. This will tie a Pittsburgh Steelers record for numbers of punts in one game. Oh, and he's hit a beauty. Weathers at his own 31-yard line. Clarence Weathers with a nifty return out over the 40 to the 42. It looked like he was trapped deep back there. Took a way wide to the left, cut it back inside, got one block, and made a fine return. I mentioned earlier they got him September the 3rd from New England. And he has made some fine returns tonight. Nothing dramatic, but he has not made the error either. This game remarkably free of turnovers. There's only been one, a Danielson pass that was picked off in the early going by Dwayne Woodruff. Considering the hitting that's been going on, that's hardly believable. Cleveland Browns have a first down following a good return by Clarence Weathers. They have the ball at their own 41-yard line. 8 minutes remaining in the game, and the Browns leading 10-7 over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Biner looking for the openings that he found earlier in the game. He gets 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Later tonight on Nightline, money in college athletics. Some college coaches are now being offered bonuses for victories. Is it just one more sign that college sports are becoming just another big business? Well, find out tonight on Nightline, immediately following your late local news.
It appears to be a cramp.
Let's hope that's a cramp. That's Keith Willis. I think it is. When they start stretching that toe like that, that's usually what they're working on. Big Keith Willis. Steelers will ill afford to lose another defensive lineman. We'll continue to work on Keith Willis. Thursday night once again. We'll be in Minneapolis, the Metrodome. Bud Grant, the Minnesota Vikings. Tommy Kramer is back. Ted Brown is back. Both of them spent so much time last year with injuries. And of course the Chicago Bears. Well, it's a good outfit to give you additional injuries. They really whacked up on them last year. Ooh, they're tough. Then Monday we'll move on to Seattle. Rams, they won a couple. The Seahawks won a couple. They won a big one over San Diego yesterday. Dave Craig passing for 5 touchdowns. Eric Dickerson is back for the Rams. I wonder how much they're working with Charlie White, having 144 yards yesterday. Probably all day.
Probably all day. I'm looking forward to seeing Dieter Brock, the quarterback that the Rams have now. He's played up in Canada for several years. He's a fine quarterback, and when he gets warmed up in the NFL, he's going to be a top-notch man, I promise you.
2nd down and 6. The Browns at their 46-yard line. 7:36 on the clock, and the Browns lead the Pittsburgh Steelers 10-7. Clarence Weathers, number 85, in motion. Browns apparently want to work on the clock, and they're doing it well as Biner hammers into Steeler territory for a first down at the 46-yard line. Eric Williams had to make the stop for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are not getting big ones out of these kinds of plays, but they are being very consistent. Biner working well behind Fike, Babb, and Lilja.
That's that little stutter step. He just hesitates enough to see where he wants to go, and he makes the right choice every time.
Well, they did a good job on Robin Cole, ordinarily very strong against the run. Robin Cole, 56 with the Steelers. 1st and 10, the Browns. Weathers in motion again. Biner got away from a safety blitz. Eric Williams coming from safety missed Biner in the backfield, and Biner was able to get a couple out of it before Merriweather made the stop.
You know, I think I know what Paul Warfield was referring to when he said this offensive line's a bit inconsistent at this point. They look terrific sometimes, blowing off the ball, knocking Pittsburgh back. and getting some good yardage, and at other times they let defenders just break through and sack the quarterback. When these guys get their act together, they're going to be a darn good line.
Biner, 60 tough yards on 16 rough, tough carries tonight. Second down and 8. The ball inside the 45-yard line of the Steelers. The blitz is on again. Danielson looking deep. He should have single coverage. Flags were down as it was Eric Williams just missing the interception. The intended receiver was Ozzie Newsome. Holding once again the Steelers. And my, have they have hurt themselves tonight. Ooh, Chuck is getting a little hot. Mike Merriweather. He was coming on the blitz and tried to recognize that Danielson was coming out, knew that he was leaving the secondary in a rather precarious straits, and he grabbed one of the offensive men coming downfield. Darrell Sims checks out, number 99, the rookie first-round draft pick from Wisconsin. In comes Keith Willis, number 93, for the Steelers.
Ernest Biner is on the sideline. It appears as if something is in his eye.
First and 10, the Browns, and this is the Browns' final timeout. And that takes care of all the timeouts for the Cleveland Browns, and they're hanging in there. They're leading 10-7, but they have been a little ragged, a little disorganized here in the second half. And Biner, like John Stallworth earlier in the game, is having a little bit of a contact problem. He wears the contact lenses. Well, what Stallworth go out earlier with the same problem.
What happened on the field was Gary Danielson had called a play. There was a replacement for Biner, came in pretty late, and it was a wide receiver, so I don't think Gary felt he had the correct players on the football field.
Freddie Banks went out there late. You know, it's sloppy the last two plays. The Cleveland Browns have wasted 2 timeouts. I could see them calling the first timeout down at the goal line to get straightened out. They wanted to score a touchdown. But the last 2 timeouts they've called, it's been totally because of confusion.
But fortunately, Pittsburgh is having their problems because that's the 3rd first down that Cleveland has gotten from Pittsburgh penalties.
And on offense, they've hurt themselves with the penalties. I think it's 3 times that they have had first downs that have been negated by the holding calls. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the expressed written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Next week, Cleveland will be playing at Dallas. Next Sunday, the Pittsburgh Steelers are at home for Houston. We're going to see the Steelers in a couple of weeks against the Cincinnati Bengals. We'll be in Pittsburgh for that one. And then we'll watch them again in December against the San Diego Chargers, December the 8th to be exact. Hard-hitting football game. The Cleveland Browns and the Steelers. We've watched it tonight. Browns are on top, 10-7. 6 minutes remaining in the game. The Browns have a first down inside the 40-yard line of the Steelers. Danielson. Ozzie Newsome. And Newsome makes a spectacular catch. He's only had 3 short receptions on the night, but this is a big one. He's close to another Brown first down.
A spectacular catch and an excellent pass. Pittsburgh came with the all-out blitz this time, and Ozzie just lays out there beautifully. Nice going, Ozzie. What good hands, and it was a strike as well.
He saw that first down marker. He had stretched out. He tried to reach it in front of Dwayne Woodruff. He couldn't get there. Second down and inches. Down in which Gary Danielson could perhaps waste to try to get some points. Kevin Mack is the single setback. No, they want to work on the clock, and they'll have the first down. Mack to the 27-yard line.
I like that first down pass the last down. That set up this first down. Pittsburgh really was expecting the run because of the clock situation, and Cleveland crossed them up.
Timeout situation, the Cleveland Browns have none. The Pittsburgh Steelers have 3. Steelers are down by 3. Steelers are 1-0 in the young season. The Browns lost their opener in overtime after leading by 1 touchdown with 38 seconds remaining. They lost in overtime. First down and 10, Cleveland. Biner. And it gets a little tougher down closer. Biner held to about a yard and a half. It'll be second down and 9. And it does get tougher. The closer you get in, tighter things become down here.
Yep, and you folks watching this game, don't you believe for 1 minute that Cleveland's trying to set up a field goal. They believe they need another touchdown because a field goal will only give them a 6-point lead. And Pittsburgh will get the ball back with plenty of time to score, so they're trying to get a touchdown on the board.
Second down and 9. Clarence Weathers, top of your screen, number 85. And Biner again. Gary Danielson under intense pressure. Biner gets the reception. Donnie Shell gets Biner. Right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and 9. Biner has been whacked. He has been mauled. And he has produced the bulk of the Cleveland Browns ball control offense tonight. Second-year man out of East Carolina.
You know, this Pittsburgh Steelers defense has done a heck of a job tonight. That goal line stand they made down here in the third quarter was a mighty big one.
It held the Browns to 3. And that's the margin at the moment. Third and long, and the Browns will work from the shotgun. Blitz is on, Hinkle is coming, and down goes Danielson. Flags are down. There could be a holding call also, but the sack is all the way back to the 38-yard line.
You see, now, when a quarterback, again, gets away with scrambling once in a while, they have a tendency to overdo it.
Holding 74 offense, penalty received, fourth down.
They have a tendency to overdo it. He may have just taken the Cleveland Browns out of field goal range. Had he thrown the ball away, they would have had a shot at 3 points. At this point, I don't know if they're still in the kicker's range.
Well, the kicker, of course, is Matt Barr. And Matt Barr is not noted for his long kicking, so they're going to bring out the punting unit. They're not even going to take a shot at it. It would have been a kick of about 53 to 54 yards. They decide not to do so. Matt Barr's career best in regular season is 50 yards. His best ever was in the playoffs in 1980 from 52, so they're not going to take a chance on it. Rick Woods drops, and he'll just be guessing with Jeff Gossett, who will be looking for a corner, I'm quite sure, unless he decides to hang it high and look for the coverage. Now, Gossett wants the corner, and he doesn't get it. Not a good kick at all, and the Browns have hurt themselves here in the late going in the fourth quarter. The sack. Danielson should have been aware, I've got to get rid of that football. We're going to get 3 if nothing else. Absolutely. Now, the Steelers, they have a great field goal kicker in Gary Anderson. And they can think anywhere from even 60 yards out for a possible Steeler field goal. We're going to pause 5 seconds now and allow our stations to identify themselves. 3:21 as the Pittsburgh Steelers trailing the Cleveland Browns 10-7 in one of the harder hitting football games we've watched in some time. Two bitter rivals in the AFC Central Division. The Steelers first and 10. The ball inside their own 20-yard line. A long way to go. Malone will be sacked. That's the kind of game we've been watching all night. Malone did not want to take a chance with it. He ate it. That's about the 9-yard line. Chris Weathers, who played outstanding football in relief of Clay Matthews, and Bob Golick were there defensively for the Browns.
Well, that's what Pittsburgh has been unable to do, is block Weathers and Chip Banks. In that last 2 series, Chip Banks got holding calls called against Pittsburgh, guys trying to block him. And they're going to have someone pick up these linebackers.
Joe, what do you think now?
I think he's got to throw the football. I don't think Cleveland's going to change a thing. Except right now they look like they're going to line up in their man-to-man coverage. Go to the outside receivers now.
Let's get some of it. You don't need all of it.
Here comes Banks.
Pick off.
And there's Weathers.
Curtis Weathers, we were just talking about what a game he played in relief of Clay Matthews. And this crowd, 80,000 plus, are all still here, and they're delirious. We've all heard it before, the 3 of us in the booth, because we've all played here before, and there's nothing like it when the Browns go out on top. You can't hear yourself think down there.
You know, that was really good deception on the Cleveland Browns' behalf. They lined up, and they looked like they were going to play man for man. The corners were tight. Then they backed off, and Weathers dropped a good 12 to 14 yards to the outside and got underneath the receiver to make the interception. It was good deception by the defense.
The captain of the special teams, Curtis Weathers, gets the interception, and movement flags are down. Look at it again. And Mark Malone again had just been sacked, the first sack of the night by the Browns. He was under strong pressure again. Tried to get it in there. Probably an ill-advised pass.
Well, he throws it right to Withers. I would imagine he just simply didn't see him. Again, I thought that Cleveland was going to give him the man defense. That's what they'd shown earlier. And they possibly just fooled Malone because he threw it right to Withers.
Steelers continue to battle. 2:43 on the clock. First down 15 following the assessment against the Browns. Finally! Oh, he finally broke one. He's been working all night. Getting 3, 4, 5, 7. And he goes in from the 21-yard line. Owner Art Modell joining 80,000 fans. Biner, a 10th round draft pick from East Carolina. He's done the work tonight. He's earned his check. He has been hammered. And he finally pops one. Matt Barr for the conversion. Art Modell to our right. Art Modell's lovely white hat to our left. They're celebrating, and maybe it might be a little early.
Well, when you blitz, you can get in trouble. Number 21, Eric Williams, was blitzing the safety. Biner found the hole. It was a huge hole, and as take another ISO on it from the I formation, a simple play, a straight ahead, what we call a forward drive, and he ran right up to the hole and just outran everybody.
The key block, Kevin Mack, the rookie from Clemson, on the blitzing man.
Marty Scheidenheimer told us this morning that the thing about a running game, if you got big linemen, you'll beat on a team, and in the fourth quarter, you'll find your start popping them. And they just popped one nice one.
From 21 yards out, and now the Browns to kick off. Still 2:37 remaining in the game. Aaron Berg is back for the Steelers. They once again need 2 scores. Aaron Berg over the 25, near the 28-yard line. For Curtis Weathers, well, he's been around here for 7 years. His first interception, what an important one it was. Anytime you're playing division opponents, they're always a little bit bigger than those you play out of your division.
Well, let's keep an eye on number 55, Weathers, and number 56, Banks. On each play, one or the other guy has been blitzing, and they haven't been able to block him. 55's not in on this play, but I see Chip Banks is in a blitzing position, and here he comes.
Malone has to hurry, but he gets it to Aaron Berg. And Aaron Berg, close to a first down. Larry Brazil made the stop, and a good pass by Malone. He was under tremendous pressure. Steelers with the hurry-up offense. They still have 3 timeouts. They want to get a score and conserve those timeouts if they can. Heading now down to the 2-minute warning. They'll get the play off, however. Blitz on again. Oh, and again Malone to Stallworth. And Stallworth almost gets the yardage for the first down. He's out of the 45 to the 46. It'll be 2nd down and 2, but we get the 2-minute warning. And there is young Ernest Biner. What a show he's put on tonight. We'll be back in Cleveland in a moment.
No matter how things change or how we live today, the best things in life are done the original way. Enjoy something original. Secret herbs and spices taste naturally better somehow.
Kentucky Fried Chicken original recipe. We've been doing chicken right for 40 years. We're not going to change it now.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. Enjoy something original now.
Radio Shack knows when you're in business for yourself, you have to be productive to be profitable. The Tandy 1000 gives you a wide choice of PC-compatible software that allows your small business to do the job efficiently. And the price performance of the Tandy 1000 will convince you to have one for work or study at home. Tandy computers, in business, for business. Only at Radio Shack.
Here's where America gets confidence installed. Sears. Right now, save on a muzzler muffler. Now only $14.88 installed. Heavy-duty shocks are now only $8.88 installed. A Sears two-wheel brake job with a limited lifetime warranty is only $59.99. And save 50% on Sears Super Guard radios. But hurry, these prices are too good to miss.
There's more for your life at Sears.
For Chuck Noll, it's not over. A man who took a team that he was rebuilding a year ago to the AFC Championship game over the past couple of years has lost players like Terry Bradshaw, Larry Brown, the offensive tackle, Lynn Swan, Jack Ham, Mel Blunt, Franco Harris, Jack Lambert. They're all gone, and yet the Steelers were able to get there to the AFC Championship a year ago. 1:56 remaining in the game. The Steelers trailing 17-7. Malone trying to keep it alive. Ehrenberg can't handle it as the pressure continues on Mark Malone. It'll be 3rd down and 2. A reminder, our executive producer, as he has been for the past 15 years, here on Monday Night Football is Roone Arledge. ABC's NFL Monday Night Football, produced by Bob Goodrich, directed by Chet Forty. All 16 years. Associate Director is Dick Buffington. Technical Director Joe Shavo. Technical Manager Rick Okolsky. Unit Manager Erman Norris. Telecommunications Manager Mark Anderson. Assistant to the producer Amy Smolin and Charles Wiseman. 3rd down, 2 for the Steelers. That's Weegee Thompson. Flag is down. Thompson is down with 1st down yardage inside the 45-yard line of the Browns. In the arms of Larry Brazil. And Malone indicating to Chuck Noll it's against the Browns. Referee Gene Barth.
47 defense holding, penalty refused, 1st down.
Brazil was holding Weegee Thompson off the line of scrimmage. 1st down, the Steelers. They have 3 timeouts remaining. They have 1:45 on the clock. They need a big one. And they need a big one, and then they need to think onside kick. And he gets to the quarterback. He's been close so many times, but he gets to Malone finally. They've been holding him. I watched a while ago. Finally, Banks has been coming almost on every play. Gets to Mark Malone. And now, the Steelers will use one of their timeouts. There is a loss of 7 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 17, and Mark Malone will go over and talk to Chuck Noll. This ABC Sports exclusive has been brought to you by L.A. from Anheuser-Busch with half the alcohol of our regular beer. Sometimes it's the perfect thing to say. And by Nissan, builders of technologically advanced cars and trucks for over 50 years. And by Quaker Motor Oil, an easy-to-pour and resealable plastic bottle. And by the investment firm of Smith Barney. They make money the old-fashioned way. They earn it. Chuck Noll, who played for the Cleveland Browns right here in their championship years, championship games of 54 and 55, a 21st round draft pick as an offensive guard and a linebacker, coached under Sid Gilman, coached under Don Shula, and played under Paul Brown. That's not bad credentials.
Well, they're just lining Chip Banks up outside. He's wide on the tackle, and he is just trying to race with the offensive tackle around the corner to get to the quarterback, and it's impossible for that offensive tackle to beat him around the corner.
2nd down, 16. Ball right at midfield. Ehrenberg in motion. Banks coming again. Malone looking for Weegee Thompson. A collision at the 7-yard line. And we'll see a lot of that this year. A year ago, I think we might have seen a flag go. This is Don Rogers covering Weegee Thompson. And the ruling being that neither one could have caught this ball.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that was a bad call. They could have called interference on that. At any rate, I would like to give some credit to my old buddy Marty Schottenheimer. He's showing some, what I think, courage to cover these Pittsburgh wide receivers for the most part of the game, man-to-man. He's showing a lot of confidence in his team, and they're beginning to believe in him if they have, well, they already believed in him for the last year.
Weegee Thompson, he's the man the single covering. Now they drop into prevent defense, and going to work is Mark Malone looking for 1st down yardage to John Stallworth, and he's close to it, near the 35-yard line. Eddie Johnson made the stop. Steelers have a 4th down, and they need a yard. Steelers need 1 yard for the first. Ehrenberg steps out of bounds, stops the clock, but not until he's inside the 20 at the 23. Don Rogers was there defensively, and the Steelers are still a threat.
And Steelers still have 2 timeouts left.
They're thinking touchdown, conversion, onside kick, possible field goal from their place kicker, Gary Anderson. There is not one Cleveland Brown fan, I think, that has left this stadium tonight.
Well, they've seen this Cleveland team lose games at this time of the game, late in the 4th quarter, so many times.
Lips, Stallworth, they've been drawing double coverage all night. Thompson has been the single man. They're trying to get it to Thompson again, and there's a tremendous collision right at the 2-yard line. Very slow getting up is Al Gross.
I don't think Ouija was trying to play defense on this play, but he sure made a good defensive play because that was an interception until Ouija arrived.
I think Ouija knew what he was doing on that play. That was a good play by Ouija Thompson.
Ouija goes 211, Al Gross 195. And Ouija just zeroed in on Al Gross and avoided the interception. Has kept it alive for the Steelers with 55 seconds remaining. Malone back again. Screen to Pollard. And the Browns reading it well. That was Chris Rockins. And now the Steelers must call timeout once again. And Malone moves over once again to visit with Chuck Noll. Well, you again will be watching the Steelers in a couple of weeks. We'll be in Pittsburgh as the Steelers take on Cincinnati. Next week, Pittsburgh is home for Houston, while Cleveland goes on to play the Dallas Cowboys down in Dallas.
Well, Joe, you was talking about your old buddy Marty Schottenheimer. He was a teammate of mine when I first came to Buffalo. He played ball there for Joe Collier, who was the defensive coordinator at Denver. Many people think he may be the best defensive coordinator in football, and spent a lot of time with Joe not only in Buffalo, but when he was selling real estate up there in Denver. Spent some time with him, and I think it was Joe that talked him into coming back to football to coach.
You know, Marty and I first met back in 1960. He was an all-state football and basketball player in Pennsylvania, from McDonald, Pennsylvania. And we met at the Big 33 game, and I don't know. I don't think Marty or myself ever thought we'd continue to stay in football this long at that time, but we both love it.
3rd down and a long 3 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. 47 seconds remaining in the game. They need something dramatic to happen. Ehrenberg could have had 6 had he held on. In and out of his hands at the 2-yard line.
Some vicious contact out of that football field. Vicious contact.
And that's another one that should have been caught. Malone has been a bit of a victim of his receivers. Early in the game, Ouija Thompson dropped one that could have put an entirely different complexion on this game inside the 10-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Ehrenberg would have been in for 6 had he held on. And now the Steelers are down to 4th down and 4. 42 seconds remaining. They'll have the first. John Stallworth, unless they drove him back. No, they'll give him his progress. And the Steelers have 1 timeout. Clock continuing to move as they have marched the progress to just about the 12-yard line as John Stallworth has just caught his 400th pass of his career. Clock stops, 17 seconds. Mark Malone coming off a cakewalk, if you will, against the Colts a week ago. 21 of 30, 287 yards, 5 touchdowns, the 1 interception. Then into a defensive buzzsaw here at Cleveland Stadium.
I think they must score on this play because even if they score and get an onside kick, they're going to have to run 1 play after the onside kick to be in field goal range.
They'll be putting it in the end zone. Flags are down. Picked off. That's flag was probably holding against Pittsburgh. As Al Gross is all the way back out to the 21-yard line.
Illegal motion, left tackle, penalty refused. First down.
Cleveland Browns have the football. This one is history. Marty Schottenheimer, they lost a thriller to St. Louis in the opener, 27-24 in overtime. Marty Schottenheimer told the team that's not going to happen again. Tonight it didn't happen. Steelers looked for a moment when they had it at 10-7 like they were going to come back. And there is a head coach who loves to teach. He knew that Mark Malone, probably down, he gave him a little pat as he came off the field. Marty Schottenheimer, we've told you about him. He's going to be around a while, we get the feeling. Also coached in the Giants under Bill Onsberger. Defensive genius with the Miami Dolphins and now, of course, with LSU. Very slow getting up is Carl Harrison, 10-year veteran who had so many fine years with the Philadelphia Eagles before coming here last year.
Let's see, Harrison went to Eastern Shore, Maryland East Shore. That's where old buddy Emerson Boozer went to school.
They've produced a lot of professionals. 8 seconds. This should do it. Gary Danielson, he'll just drop down. Under the new rule, you don't even have to touch him. Steelers have the one timeout. And they take it. Strictly a token. For Chuck Noll, it's another loss here in Cleveland. They've lost in Cleveland the last 3 times now that they've been here. And I might add that Cleveland has lost in Pittsburgh the last 2 times they've been there. And they still have to go to Pittsburgh. There's Pat Modell. She gets into this game just like her husband Art. It's over now. A dramatic night for the Cleveland Browns. A tough night for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We hope you've enjoyed. Once again, the final score is Cleveland 17, the Steelers 7. Travel arrangements made through, and a promotion will be paid by United Airlines. United flies to Tokyo from more top business centers with 3-class Royal Pacific service. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as a leader in sports television. We'll see you Thursday night from Minnesota with the Vikings and the Bears. Good night.